on me and on you.
This bad boy over here.
All apologies. I'm gay. What if that entire song is just all the world is gay? How about instead of Matrix Reloaded, it's just Matrix Metamucil? Because they're old. Matrix is 22 years old or something like that. How about Matrix been gay? How about Matrix pain relieving cream? How about Matrix extra strength? How about Matrix Tylenol?
What about Matrix Silver?
Hell yeah. How about Matrix one a day? How about Matrix Insure? So you get all your vitamins, and Carrie-Ann Moss is now 80 years old and she has dementia and she forgets that she didn't eat. She's down to 109 pounds. So you have to give her Insure to ensure she doesn't starve to death. How about Matrix milk of magnesia? How about Matrix kaopectate? Because all they eat is baby food, and they have diarrhea, so you got to give them kaopectate, so they don't shit themselves all the time. How about Matrix half calf? Because if you give them full caffeine, their heart will beat too fast, and their heart monitor will send a message to hospice care. How about Matrix sucrose? How about Matrix sugar-free candy? Because the doctor said they really shouldn't be eating sugar anymore. How about Matrix? How about it's the Matrix, but everybody just uses jitterbugs because they're so old they don't know how to use a browser on a smartphone. How about Matrix? My computer monitor stopped working, and I think there's something wrong with the mainframe, because that's what my dad said to me, because he left his computer unattended, and he called me on the landline, and he said all the monitor said is D-sub power saving mode. I'm like, yeah, the computer just turned off. It's like, I don't know, it just does that. So my dad uses the old RCR editing computer as his computer now, which is in the basement where I used to live most of the time. You know, I'd sleep upstairs, but I spent all day in the basement. And I used to wear extra coats because it was cold down there, but it was the only place where I could jack off in private. I put a lock on there was two doors in my parents' basement. There's you walk into the basement because it's Pennsylvania. There's a bar in the basement. And then you go through another door and there was the downstairs family room, which was always, I think, my favorite room in the house. But there wasn't a lock on the door because one time there was a lock on the door growing up, but one time my brother locked himself in the room when he was little and he did not know, he's an infant, he's a toddler. He does not know that you turn the little thing inside the doorknob to get out. So we had to I climbed in. There was a vent fan because the furnace room butted up against that room. And there was a fan, a window fan in the wall that just could blow hot air into the downstairs family room to circulate air from the furnace. Just the furnace area would get warm, so you wouldn't be super cold in that room. So we just pushed that and it fell on the floor, and I ran in and unlocked the door. So, but then after that, it's it's too dangerous to have a lock on this. So so the knob was there, but Dad took out the locking mechanism. There was just a piece of wood in there. So the door would close, but it couldn't stay that way. And then when I moved back home after I lived in Lansdale, I'm like, well, and this was before Wi-Fi, or like we had like range extenders or hardline adapters, so I could have wireless up in my room. I had to have it in the basement because that was the only place where there was a hole in the floor or in the ceiling where you could have because the router was always upstairs in the family room, but you could run a Cat5 cable down there. So eventually I put one of those like stall door locks, just that little slider that went back and forth. And that was my way to lock the door so I could JO. How about Matrix JO? Because they're all old men and they don't know how to keep their penis in their pants. I don't think you were there for that shoot.
No, it was old men and penises in their pants.
Yeah. I think it was Tony Airlines that was along for that, and the guys were telling me there was like we were at this like classic car dealership. And I won't blow up their spot, but they were cool guys. But like technically, like the grandfather still owned it.
Yeah.
But like he was starting to have dementia, and they told me, yeah, he just goes into his office and like jerks off to Asian porn like 4 times a day. And like,
I mean, nothing wrong with Asian porn. Well, I guess it depends.
Well, there's no feng shui in his office. It's like the door is there and you can kind of see his computer when you walk into his office. And he like he'd close the door, but like leave it open a crack.
Huh.
And he'd just be there and he'd just be beating off.
Well, there you go.
Multiple times a day, every day. And
as one does. Apparently. Humans and such. I saw a question in there of what happened to Monday's video. We didn't have one Monday. We decided to take a first Monday off in like 6 years.
Yeah.
Because ever since we moved to Mondays, however many years ago, because we were originally on Sundays.
Way in the beginning.
In the beginning. And then we moved to Mondays. And so, yeah. Bless you. So yeah, it's been I had a great week. I
had a fantastic week not working.
Yeah.
You know what I did?
What?
I beat off.
That is wonderful.
For an entire week. I did nothing. Just like Office Space. You know, I got back from Cincinnati filming Foster's, you know him as Badler the Eagle. And I filmed a documentary on their charity that they did for New Year's. I think Adler is putting it up on his YouTube channel tomorrow. And that was the best New Year's I've ever had. Just like filming goofy stuff, hanging out, and not trying to have a good time.
Yeah.
So I had a good time. Like I was being social when I felt like it. And when I didn't feel like being social, I just stayed behind the camera. And it was everything I thought it would be. The only thing it wasn't is that I didn't get any dick. Not that there was any shortage of it, but who knows? But, you know, whatever. Go in. That was something my therapist said. Like, you know, maybe you should not expect anything. And you won't be let down.
Yeah.
But it was good. I'll link everybody to the documentary. I'm in it briefly. You know, obviously I'm not in it because I'm the camera guy, but there's a bit where I do a thing and I appear in it.
Yeah.
Comment to you, Rocky says Roman lost a hell of a lot of weight.
I found that I didn't actually lose weight. What I'm losing is definition in my arms because I haven't like done anything.
Oh.
So I'm guessing it's generally making me look thinner, but I don't actually like feel any thinner or like, you know, I still got like my working gut and all my good stuff. I don't feel like doing this. I'm just doing it to do it. So yeah, I appreciate the kind words. I just don't know that necessarily I'm in any better shape now than I was, although I want to be, you know. And I mean, and it's better than thinking that I'm losing weight for no reason, which is just ignite all of my health anxiety that I've ever had.
How about instead of Joe Rogan, it was Joe COVID. Because that's all he talks about.
Yeah, that's why I can't listen. I just can't.
Try.
Like,
I skip through a lot of his podcasts now.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's just the same beats over and over again. It's not entertaining.
Yeah.
And I like the guy. I still like, if we ever get invited, I'll say yes in a heartbeat. But I'd be like, if he starts talking about ivermectin or something like that, I'd be like, okay, Joe COVID. Just like, even though it doesn't make any sense. Okay, Joe COVID. Joe COVID. All you got to do is repeat something a bunch of times. Okay, Joe COVID. How about the Matrix? What? Because everybody has dementia. How about the Matrix diabetes? Because all they eat is Hormel chili. I was talking about that because that's what my uncle eats.
Hormel chili?
Yeah. I mean, my uncle has dementia and 2 strokes, and he's nonverbal, and he lost most of his teeth. And my dad was talking that he went over to Jim's apartment. My dad's like the executor of the estate. Jim has like a trust fund now.
Yeah.
Because his inheritance from grandma in the old shoe factory that my family used to own like in the 40s and 50s. Like if he got his inheritance from that property sale, he'd just like go to Disney World.
Yeah.
And just spend it all. And the dude still has a license and he drives.
But he's nonverbal, but he drives?
Yes. Legally, he has a legal driver's license and he's allowed to have a car. Because he hasn't broken enough laws, and I don't think he hardly drives, but he can like drive and get around by memory. And Dad said he was in the car where Jim was driving once, and Jim just blows through traffic signs. It's like everything. He's gonna have an accident or something like that. He drives the 2007 Honda Accord from way back in the beginning, because that used to be my mom's, and they just sold it to Jim for like, I don't know, like $5,000 or something like that. And that was back when that car was still kind of new-ish, like in 2016 or something like that, which would only make it like a 10-year-old car. So it's fine. So yeah, but Jim, like, he's going to outlive everybody else in the family because like he's the most unhealthy. He doesn't brush his teeth. He doesn't take care of himself. He can hardly speak. And it's you know how the way things goes. He's going to outlive everybody.
Yeah, that's just how it goes. It's like the people who necessarily try harder to take care of themselves, it seems, tend to have worse luck in that regard.
How long did Jack LaLanne passed away like a number of years ago, didn't he?
Jack LaLanne? I believe so.
Yeah. I guess he made it to 80 or something like that. Anyway, my dad went over to Jim's apartment, and I guess he has like electric heat or something like that. But for whatever reason, Jim was heating his kitchen by turning on his electric stove and just leaving the door open. Yeah. And it's just like blasting heat outside in his kitchen. And like, he doesn't have any self-preservation. And my dad, because, you know, my dad is definitely ASD. He like tries to apply logic and like, if only I can explain to my brother doing this, he shouldn't do this. And I'm like, Dad, you know, you can't apply logic to crazy.
But does he have power of attorney?
Yep.
Because if he does, couldn't he just like make the car go away?
Oh yeah, if he wanted to, yeah.
Because I feel like he should probably do that for the safety of the community.
Yeah.
If for no other reason than if your uncle has no instinct for self-preservation, at least it's keeping someone who probably shouldn't be driving, even though they legally can, off of the street.
That's an interesting question. Yeah, I think you could take away the car. Obviously, you couldn't revoke the license, but I don't know. So that's what goes on. It's like ever since grandma passed away, that's what my parents talk about is Jim. That's like the last family member to like dole and like, what's that word? Ruminate?
Yeah.
Yeah. To ruminate over. Because there's nothing really else to talk about. Thank God for the pandemic. That's a line. That's a line I feel that needs the right context to slip in.
Yeah.
It's like the Wilhelm scream is corny, but sometimes
on
it
that
works.
rare occasion.
Yeah. Yeah. The line is thank God for the pandemic. It gives boring people something to talk about. Or maybe it could be thank God for the pandemic. It gives boring people something to talk about and sound interesting. Thank God for the pandemic. It makes boring people interesting.
Thank God for the pandemic. It gave everyone a medical degree.
Hell yeah. Well, it's gonna snow on Saturday.
No, Sunday.
Well, I'm gay.
That's just...
Well,
makes me think of the Come Town bit with Christopher Walken, and then fucking like, the bigger guy. What's his name?
Stavros Halkis.
Stavros. There we go. He just busts in with a terrible walking on. I'm gay. I'm gay. Meanwhile,
oh man, what if I busted that out like right when friggin' Larry and Bob are at the table?
Oh yeah.
So we're having there's these other like we're kind of regulars at the coffee shop where we write all the RCRs, but then like these other two old guys that show up that usually are talking amongst themselves, but the way everybody was seated is like I sat down at the table across from Larry, and Larry's like I don't know what he does. He's an electrician, I think. Larry's like in his late 60s, and he has some guy he knows named Bob. And Bob is like this guy with like liver spots and a veteran hat and like, let me tell you about history. You know, they don't teach history in school anymore. Stuff like that. And he's like, he's a guy who probably knows a lot of things, but you know, he'd be a lot more interesting if he didn't just like insist upon you all the time. He'd be a lot more friendly if he served his facts with charity instead of grim duty, or like, I'm gonna tell you. Wow, you're sure telling me. You got anybody are we the only people who listen to you, Bob? Anyway, so Bob just sits down at my table, and I'm like, whatever. I take it as a compliment that I look friendly enough that he can sit with me. So then Nick comes in. So it's just Nick, me, and Bob at one table, and like Larry at the other table.
Yeah.
But like they're going back and forth about, times used to have been better or something in so many words. I mean, Larry is a positive guy because like the pandemic turned a lot of old men negative if they weren't already.
Yeah, like more.
And they walk around and they got. Thank God for the pandemic. It gives grumpy old men something legitimate to complain about. But back, do you know about something? No, Bob doesn't ask, do you know about before he gives you an old man fact. He just says the old man facts. But like to just pull out I'm gay. Larry would probably laugh. Bob would just, I don't know, probably get all silent or something like that.
Yeah. Seems that way. I mean, I could see it being that. And then there were those ladies there who.
Oh, those guys. Yeah, those guys.
That they were talking about it. And I mean, making up a name, but they were like,
Ethel.
Well, yeah, like, well, Ethel, she like was checked into the hospital and lost a lot of weight. Not that she couldn't stand to lose some weight.
That was a line.
But that's not the way to do it. It's just like, that's not the way to do it. I mean,
she got COVID and lost 5 pounds. Not that she couldn't stand to lose 5 pounds, but that's not the way to do it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, sometimes first you lose a little bit of weight, then you're having conversations with the other side.
She said that? Now you're having conversations? Oh, no. That's a line.
Yeah. But it's just very.
Hold on, I gotta get meta here for a minute.
Do it.
No, this is awesome. This is like meta. I'm legitimately wasting people's time on this podcast, just sending a video message on Telegram to Frederick Knudsen from down the rabbit hole. No, you can I'll just load Telegram here onto the you see it on the tablet, and I'll plug the tablet into the I don't know, I guess you can see it over there on the mixer. And then we'll just patch you in to this. We got to get our headphones.
All that work.
All that work.
So much going on.
I want to hear about Austria and getting around. I don't care if it's even about public transportation or whatever. Internet.
Talking about the internet. Going online? Going online? I have a little talk.
Yeah, I'm from Austria, mate.
Austria? Or Australia?
No, Austria.
Austria?
We talk like this in Austria, too.
I'm from NZ. I haven't seen anything in years.
Chalking in the ute.
Chalking in the ute? I've never seen these guys in my life.
Flat white.
Oh, I'll have a flat white.
That's good, man. That's good.
Thank you.
I can't do it. I mean, I know you're just supposed to do Flight of the Conchords, and that gets you there to do a NZ accent.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gay?
Ford Fiochin.
Oh, I used to be straight, but now I'm gay.
I'm gay?
I'm gay?
I'm from New Zealand and I'm gay?
No sense hiding it.
I guess we should answer whatever.
In theory. There's
Fred says, let me use the bathroom and then I'll be all in. I'll let you know when I'm back. Prepare for my arrival.
Good man.
Damn it. Now I got to plug shit in.
Well, there's a me question that I can answer.
All right. That's
all right. So
dynamite.
The one KEA. Hi, Roman. Would you agree with the assertion that Star Wars The Force Awakens is everything that's wrong with fan service and Ghostbusters Afterlife is everything that's right with fan service? We were actually talking about Ghostbusters Afterlife, even though neither of us saw it, but we all know about it.
Dan Aykroyd just slowly got bigger for the last 4 decades.
Yeah, it's kind of it's my better comparison would be Spider-Man No Way Home, because that is the proof, in my opinion, that fan service absolutely works, and anyone who says it doesn't is just, I don't know. It's I guess I should say, like, in a conditional sense, it works, but it also generally, if you give people what they want, they'll be happy, even if it sounds like something out of a fan fiction script. I don't know why modern media has to deconstruct everything. I liked The Last Jedi, but also I understand why people didn't like it, because it's essentially saying this thing you liked that was really, like, cool, you're dumb for liking it. Like, because now I'm going to make you feel like it wasn't legitimate until we tackle these more adult themes and do full character studies. It's like, that's not really what
check on these headphones. Check on these headphones. There, it works.
But yeah. As far as fan service, I mean, I'm all for it. Boomco Jack says, my super chat didn't send a message. Anyway, regular car meet. I mean, that's on pause for now. Obviously, I mean, it's going to be a while before we can safely do it. And ideally we would want to do it safely. And so, yeah, it'll happen when it's safe to do so, I suppose. Not that I don't want to do it. I absolutely want to do it. And I imagine it, because it's been such a long time since we've, like, seen fans and, like, hung out and done the whole car show type thing that our meets to end up being. So yeah. Ultra Newt asks, sup chat, how do I decide what tires to buy? Oh, it was a question for the rest of the chat rather than us. Because honestly, when I recently had to buy new tires, and it was literally just
buy the ones with the greatest warranty on it. Like, if you have tires with, like, a warranty on it, they're pretty good. I mean, if you want a brand, crappy good tires are better than all worn out and old and cracked. Crappy new tires are better than good old worn cracked tires.
Yes.
If you want a good all around tire, there's two answers: hand cook or just get the Michelins.
There you go.
I mean, like, it's always the Michelins, whatever their performance version is. I guess they're P0s, or I don't know. If you're getting a track tire or an autocross tire, then just get whatever Michelin is making. Fred says he's ready.
All right.
So let's see how this is working.
Sorry, just posing socials related to the podcast.
Okay. I need maximum. I need to go on Amazon. Like, write the F now, and so I need to unmute the tablet. So I go to the tablet and I call Frederick Knudsen.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much. You can either look at me like right now. Actually, this is probably too much bandwidth. I'm going to turn my camera off. One, because it's potato vision. Two, that's better. Two, use up my bandwidth. And if you go to regular and Roman, like our second channel.
No, I found it. I found it. I
All
was
right.
like, where is it? And I'm like, wait a minute. Right. There's another channel for this.
Okay.
I'm the moron.
All right. So you're loud and clear in my headphones. So we're going to do a sound check
Excellent.
with everybody in the chat. So I say testing on Brian. You say testing on Fred. Are you ready?
Ready.
Testing on Brian.
Testing on me.
Testing on Brian.
Testing on Fred.
No, testing on Brian.
Testing on Fred.
God. How low can you go? This is testing on Brian.
I used to be a bass and choir.
I used to be a daddy bass and daddy bass. People are saying Fred down.
Aha.
People are saying can't hear, and then another person says Fred down 4 decibels.
4 decibels.
Huh. Weird.
So
That is very odd.
I mean, the mixer can definitely hear you.
Okay.
Someone says this is getting sexy. These podcasts were tested on. All right.
My
Can
audio
anybody
literally
hear
has
Fred?
no
That's just what
definition.
I want to know from the podcast. On your end, people are watching in the chat. Can you hear Fred louder or quieter on Fred? Brian.
Here, I'll try talking for a moment. My go-to is the Jabberwocky. But it sounds like, you know what, just me explaining that I use the Jabberwocky is probably enough for people to hear me and see if I sound okay. People are saying, yes, it's fine. You're good, broyos.
Broyos. Delightful.
Okay, for those who need an introduction, you have a bigger YouTube channel than us. Congratulations also for
Yes.
Fred for hitting 1 million subscribers.
Yeah, well deserved.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Fred,
I mean, it doesn't show in my release schedule, but, you know, I'll take it.
that is the very interesting thing about you, is that you release once every other lunar cycle, and your analytics are unstoppable. Everything you put out is multi-million views. You get more views than Demuro gets. So, like, per video when they put them out.
Well, my theory is that if I worked really hard so that my theory was if I gained a good enough reputation, then people would watch anything that I put out and watch it all the way through. So I spent years building up that reputation. So now it doesn't matter if it takes 1 million years. If those first few people who are subscribed and constantly waiting for a new video watch it all the way through, it is going to absolutely catapult. It's going to catapult me way up, and it'll start pushing it to everyone, even if it's been 1 million years.
Yeah, and you hit the coveted get on recommendations on like the main page.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So if you are not signed into YouTube and you type in documentary or internet lore or something, your videos come up. So the algorithm likes you.
And so do we.
I'm doing it the hard way though, right? I'm like, I sort of like I worked really hard, so now I can just kind of do whatever I want. That's so now, I have people that will always watch it, and then they boost me up immediately, and that boosts it out to everyone. It's tricky, but it's taken a lot of work, but I'm happy with it. Anyway, enough about me. Let's talk about my channel, right?
Yes. Nick, can you do me a favor?
Shoot.
Can you walk to the kitchen door that leads outside?
Yes.
And on that kitchen door, there is some toenail clippers.
I
need to cut the calluses off the inside of my hand because they're getting annoying and I'm picking at them. I have this goal before I go to my next furry convention that I need to be able to curl more weights because I want bigger biceps. So my goal before March is to be able to hold a 50-pound weight in each hand and lift them both at the same time. A modest goal. But doing that, you grip the weights. What is this part of the hand that everybody rips their hands up in the gym?
Other than the palm?
Other than the palm. Let's hold on. Let me boost my mic because I want a sound clip of this. All right, we are very hot on my mic right now. This is the sound of me cutting calluses off. Shh. Quiet on set. All right. Testing back on normal mic.
Yeah. So yeah, I had to check to make sure that my gut was still there because if people are saying I look thin, I would be worried if I were losing weight for no reason. Maybe it's just like anxiety. Apparently that makes people lose weight too.
Really?
Yeah. Sometimes like the most weight I've lost was anxiety. Like that one time in 2018 when I started hitting the gym a lot, I think it was less me hitting the gym and more me being stressed out about everything at the time because, had a friend pass, had my grandmother pass, had this like relationship thing fall through. Not even really a relationship thing, but it was just a really bad time.
Underestimate. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Never underestimate how many calories your brain can consume. And when you're stressed out and it's constantly going, it's going to consume more.
Yeah, I was stressed. I've been stressed out for the past few weeks because of a problem with health insurance, which is weird because basically it was some like clerical thing. So I was like, holy shit, am I not going to have health insurance? And then no, it came through with like everything, but I was just like freaking out because I know what it's like to not have health insurance. I knew what it was like for many, many years. And that is how you accrue a spectacular medical debt. But of course, even having, health insurance, you're going to accrue spectacular medical debt. I don't know. It's
without going into detail. I get it.
Yeah. So it's just, I don't know. It is what it is. But now I can like make an appointment to go see the dentist because I missed my appointment in October because there's just like too much going on. And I'm like, the cleaning can wait, blah, blah, blah. And now the dentist is like very aggressive about getting on you about the visit. Like I'm always getting emails from the office like, hey, a date just opened up, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well, I got to wait for my coverage to kick in. So no. And because otherwise I'm going to be paying like a shit zillion dollars to, have them dig in my mouth with a rusty hook. And I know it's not rusty, but it always feels that way with the sound and everything. I don't know.
I don't know who you're going out and getting to clean your teeth. I feel like me getting my teeth cleaned is always a really pleasant experience. I don't know. And I actually have a very bad history with the dentist.
Yeah.
And it still is just nice. Maybe it's just because I like getting groomed, like getting a haircut, getting my teeth cleaned. Okay. No, I didn't think about how that sounded, but look, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Listen,
I mean, I
have a good start to your channel. Let me just slide in here a little bit. Take you on the airplane and go and have a secluded island.
I actually would say it might be wise to it might be wise to wait a little while. What with Omicron sort of raging around right now, give it a little bit.
Oh yeah, with the teeth cleaning. Yeah, it's
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I feel like having your mouth wide open while Omicron is just kind of swirling around is a really good way to catch COVID.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I recently got my booster and I took my mom to get hers the other day, actually yesterday. I don't know why I said the other day, but the what's odd about it is that, you know, it's like we're right back to sort of an abundance of caution, which is fine by me, but also the end result is that also I'm not getting like, I'm not going to the barber at all. So a lot of times I'll have like some razors do it myself. But the problem is when I do like my own shaving, I end up breaking out because I don't know, genetics are such that I just have really bad skin for the most part. And so like I would prefer not to have to do my own shaving because I'm terrible at it. But it is what it is. Creature comforts. I mean, I did get this last shave professionally done, but that was before like the big outbreak. So yeah, that was just. Oh, there was someone in the comments who asked what the actual name of Fred's channel is. It is down the rabbit hole. It is fantastic.
Well, that's the name of the series. The channel is just Frederick Knudsen. It's just.
Oh, that's right. Sorry about that. Yeah, that is true. Like if you search.
Oh, yeah. There's actually a funny story. Do you guys want to know why the channel is still my name and I haven't changed it?
Oh, is it because if you change a channel name, it changes your Gmail name?
No, it's okay. All right. 30 seconds.
Okay.
30-second explanation.
No problem.
The first Down the Rabbit Hole was uploaded to my Google Plus YouTube account because I didn't think anyone was going to be like seeing it except for the place I was applying to for a job. I just threw it together in 3 days, desperately, as a piece to show, hey, I can video edit. And then that accidentally gained a lot of traction. And it's like, well, I can't move channels now.
Yep.
So like, and then I went in to try to change the channel name, but Google Plus was like falling apart at the seams at that point because Google was getting rid of it. And so there was basically no way to change it at that point. Now the only option is to move it all to a brand channel, which would get rid of all the comments. Yeah, bad idea.
Well, I mean, having your name like be the title, it hasn't really stopped anybody else.
No, it really hasn't.
Yeah.
You don't need.
No, I mean the good news is that if I apply for a job anywhere, I can be like, well, just look at my name on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
You know, they're going to do a background check and they're going to search for my name, and it's like, oh, this person does the videos that have many numbers. So I'm future-proofing myself a little bit.
Talk to Nick a second. I just need to get some power going to the tablet.
So how's the new video coming along? I know it's been a very long time in coming.
It has. The new video is slated to come out in early May, and I'm estimating it to be about 4 hours long.
Oh, nice. Dude, that's so great for me because I love listening to them as like just background study. I'm writing now type material, sometimes falling asleep type things, which is not a comment on the whether it's boring or not. I just mean like there are a lot of videos that I've rewatched multiple times because I like listening to them in like a playlist form, which is funny because I've had people tell me they do that with like RCR stories and I'm like, why would my voice help you fall asleep? I'm incredibly flattered and very thankful, but I realized like why would I like not, I don't know. I find like, why wouldn't people do that? I do that with other channels. I do it with your channel. Like it's great.
It's nice having something to fall asleep to. I'm just so glad that people enjoy my voice enough that they can do that. I'm very glad. I go to great pains to make my videos as accessible as possible because YouTube is a funny beast where you don't know how someone is going to be consuming your content. Like I feel like movie directors have a lot of leeway in the sense that if a movie director says you must watch this in IMAX for the proper experience, everyone kind of just goes, yeah, okay. Maybe a little bit of Twitter clowning, but whatever. Whereas on YouTube, people are just going to watch it however they want. So I specifically make my videos to work whether you are looking at the screen and paying complete attention, whether you have it on a second monitor. If you have it on your phone and you put your phone upside down on the table while you're eating cereal, and can barely hear it over the crunching, it's like I make it consumable in all of those cases,
which is a very smart way to do it. Honestly, like my favorite video is the Final Fantasy house, because I went to State College and I never knew about the Final Fantasy house. Like I went to Penn State and this somehow never came up.
Right.
And
what years were you at main campus?
Well, I was there like, I want to say a few years after the whole Final Fantasy house fiasco. I was there from like 2006 to 2008 because I did my first 2 years at Berks and my last 2 up in the main campus. So it was this bizarre piece of like State College lore that I knew nothing about. And it's so bizarre because I know where this place is. And I'm just like, it's so interesting.
Right.
So I don't know, that would be like my big recommendation of people to go check out, because that's just a fascinating story all around.
That it hit the perfect storm of a really bad manipulator and then really gullible people. Like,
right. Well, I mean, I think it's an instance of casting the net wide, because I don't think that it's similar to cults. As cults never like really target people. They always cast their net wide, and then the small fish, the people who know or maybe aren't susceptible to that particular cult leader won't be trapped in it. But then there are some, like, they're not looking to capture everyone. They're looking to just find the people that are susceptible. And Jen had a website. And so there were a lot of people being exposed to her, and she was interacting with a lot of people. So she didn't need to like work her magic on every single person. She just had to find the people that were susceptible to it.
Do you think she was righteous in what she was doing, in that she knew that this is a way for me to live, or this is a way for me to have like free housing and free food?
I believe that I do not believe that people tend to put together an ethical framework and then work based off of that. I think that people follow their instinct and their desires and then build their moral framework around that. That's what I think that Jen did. I think that it was a very convenient thing for Jen to do, and she created a moral and spiritual framework that accommodated it.
Oh, Nick, if you need your volume changed in your headphones.
Yes, I do. And I see it right here.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Just a quick bit for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about. Basically, in State College, there was this woman who was essentially running this house. I believe that everyone was essentially LARPing Final Fantasy characters.
Yeah, all the time, living as their characters.
Living as those characters. And essentially, she basically, I don't want to say she got them to be her slaves, but she got them to be kind of subservient to her in a way that was beyond the normal bounds. And I guess it's like you said, like in exchange, they thought they were getting like housing. Or
did
something.
Anybody get FATTIDS? Did she have that allure of that like the rent fair girl with like the big pillow boobs, and like she's the biggest fish in like a shitty house because she's got a gigantic rack?
The kind, right? I know the kind of person you're talking about. The kind of person who wears a loose fitting corset.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You were thinking like the exact same kind of person.
Yeah. Like
I think
I'm a lusty gal, and she, like that type of person is going to turn into the same like kind of person that like the old lady who grabbed my dick at the bowling alley when I was like in college. I've told that story in the podcast before. I'll tell you sometime, Fred. It's a funny story. She had Lee press-on nails or something like that on.
I love it. I'm sorry I didn't get to listen to the voice message you sent me, but every time you send me a string of voicemails, I get excited. I press play, and then your voice starts coming through, and I'm just like, yes, Ryan, regale me.
I was telling Fred about our next giveaway car, which, like, the next giveaway car is the next video, but we already have the one after that in my garage, and I like it, but like, this is a car, and I don't want to talk about it because we actually blah, blah, blah. I'll say two things about it. I'll say one thing about it, because if I say what movie it debuted in,
everyone's gonna know.
Everyone's gonna know. Like, every car person will know. But this was like one of the first cars in when they started to realize that they could tie vehicles into like blockbuster movies. And so, like, sometimes they'd appear in the movie like just when they went on sale. No, really right before they go on sale, because the car has been there for a while. Hey, it's Jess McAndrew. Jess McAndrew, Road Warrior. Jess also, hopefully at some point you'll meet Jess.
No, I did.
Fred.
Fred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Jess, you're listening to me right now. The car that I can't talk about, I want to drive up to you because it is a highway demon. It's for those in the chat, the people, when we gave away the one, not the 1M, but the 1 Series M Sport, that was 450 horsepower. That was the most powerful car we did. But I think, like, technically BMWs, because of the European Union, and I want to hear all about like the transportation infrastructure of Austria, because Fred just got back from like a 3-month trip in Austria, and I want to hear about how you get around there. But one of the things that you run into with European cars, higher performance European cars in the United States, is that they're all the computers have them limited to 155 miles an hour, because that's at the point where you need better tires. Because the faster tires turn, the hotter they get. And the hotter they get, the quicker the rubber breaks down and starts to deform. And above 155 miles an hour, you need like a Z-rated tire or something like that. Tires that are like...
They almost start... They start sort of getting almost like putty.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. You can experience this yourself if you drive around with only 20 pounds in your tire at 20 PSI. You get people whose tires like shred apart on the sidewall. That's because they're dinguses and they don't monitor. They don't realize that your tires are not perfect. And every month they're going to lose a little bit of air. A little bit just finds its way out and you have to pump them back up again. But they don't look like a tire doesn't look like it's low on air until it hits around like 25 pounds. And then at a glance, then you see it looks a little soft, looks a little bit lower, but you can still drive on that. But as the tire begins to deform because it has less pressure, it's squatting down. There's more pressure on the sidewall because the sidewalls start folding in on themselves a little bit. And of course, tires deform as you take corners, like on highway off ramps. They squish a little bit. And then if it gets really low, like 15 PSI, the sidewalls can start folding and then they start touching. And when they touch, they rub. And they're rubbing like at 40 miles an hour. And immediately friction, it turns to goo and boom, the sidewalls blow out. Like, my tire, it shouldn't have done that. And it's like, that's why all modern cars have that stupid TPS monitoring system where there's little sensors inside the valve stems. And this is like new technology. And it's like TPS technology with tires now is like where Bluetooth was in 2005. It doesn't work. You get into a car with Bluetooth from 2005. It never wants to connect. And Nick is looking at big titty porn over there.
I was
Don't
not
think I
looking
didn't
at
see
porn.
it.
I was
looking at
scrolling
Angela
through
White.
my Instagram.
You were scrolling over, and the algorithm says...
The algorithm demands that, hey, you want to see this. I was actually looking at, trying to look up Jess McAndrew's social media because she posted about something I wanted to talk about called
you
the
type in
Superload.
Jess McAndrew and it gives you big titties.
Apparently. No, the Superload 2022. That's passing through PA.
Oh,
we're getting the Superload.
We're getting the Superload.
It's going to take how many days? Well, actually,
Hey,
that's
Fred, you want to hear about our super load?
Oh, okay. It's going to take 10 days and we'll move no faster than 30 miles per hour.
Whenever you're talking about loads, Brian, I get nervous.
They gotta make like socks that are designated for you to bust in. Just like load socks.
Crusty socks. Like just
crusty brand.
Yeah.
Crusty brand bust in them socks.
Yeah, just busting them, leave them crusty.
Oh my God. Like Krusty's, the pancake brand, absolutely is missing out on a corner of the market. Get a Krusty's, like get a Krusty's pancake mix bag, and then a Krusty's sock along with
Krusty's sock for when it's thick like pancake butter or batter.
Right,
just like
right. It's they have the family bag, and then they have the bag you buy if you're alone in your apartment.
I just need that carb load and sugar load.
Yeah.
Because then I'm going to hit my vape pen and then you'll just sit there and crank it.
Which you can barely taste because you just ate pancakes drenched in like pseudo maple syrup.
Yeah.
Not real maple syrup.
No.
I'm talking about the corn syrup that they dye to make it look like maple syrup.
Yeah. You're getting the type of maple syrup that come in French toast sticks, that little dipping thing.
Yeah.
Right. In the plastic jugs that still use BPA.
Oh yeah. And those little like portion things. Real talk, how awesome were French toast sticks though? Like in the 90s.
Oh
like
man.
Having those things for breakfast. Just getting that adrenaline heroin shot of sugar in the morning.
Well, when I was a kid, my mom, we used to go to one of those like bulk food places, and she would just get like a garbage bag full of like French toast sticks and we just shove in the freezer.
Hell yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm out here living my best life as a child. I had the best childhood in the history of ever. And it's just one of those things where I mean, French toast sticks are like an absolute good.
I know.
You know, you can have them dry, you can have them with maple syrup, you can have them with honey. Doesn't make a difference.
I cannot agree with you on this. I feel like those sorts of waffled sticks are. It's like if day-old Domino's pizza crust.
Come on,
when
man.
you just ate the tasty. It's like when you just eat the pizza part and you leave the crust in the box. It's like if one of those leftover crusts had a drunken night with like children's cereal and forgot to use a condom.
Oh yeah, they just got it on with
his pull-out method is trash.
Yeah,
he gets like half of it. He gets half of it. He comes all over the girl's asshole and then like cries. I'm sorry, Fred. I talked over you. What were you saying?
No, it's okay. It's like cinnamon toast crunch. Like had a child with a day-old stale crust from Domino's.
I see where you're coming from, man, but it's the crispy. You put it in the toaster oven. You got time before the school bus. You put it in that toaster oven. It comes out hot, a little bit crispy, a little bit ooey, and it's amazing.
Well, for me, like that was always a weekend food.
Listen, you're just describing. Oh, sorry, Roman.
No, that's all right. I was done.
I'm describing my erection.
Say, it just sounds like you're describing a substandard churro.
I could kind of see it that way.
All right.
I mean, I don't get the whole adding like other things like powdered sugar. I know people who do the whole powdered sugar thing. I don't really
French
get it.
toast.
Yeah.
Airport diner at Kutztown would do that.
Like
unless you don't ask them to. But I think, oh man, what is it in the whipped butter at the diner?
I fucking love whipped butter. Yeah,
God damn it,
butter. That's
whipped
amazing.
Butter is so good.
Yeah. Whipped butter is the freaking it's the top shelf vodka of butter.
Yeah. Did you like how is the breakfast scene in Austria?
Oh my God. You know how there are wine enthusiasts, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are people who they taste a wine from a certain place and they're like, yes, like the wine from this winery always tastes like this. if you told me that there was a society like that for like Austrian milk drinkers, I'd believe you, because the milk there is actually like tasty depending on the different kinds of milk. I feel like milk is kind of like generic in America a lot of the time. There's not a lot of flavor to it. It's like it's white, creamy liquid. But you like if you get a label, like if you get milk with a different label in a different package in Austria, and you drink it, the flavor will be radically different.
Why?
And it's all good.
Is it pasteurized milk?
Is it pasteurized? I'm not sure. Like, I think so, because the food standards are pretty good there.
Yeah. Like in New Zealand, they don't call it whole milk, they call it full fat. And then there's like some of their milk was unpasteurized. You could buy it. But I remember my friend said, okay, it typically didn't come in like liter bottles. It was like half liter or something like that, because you realize that this is you got about a week with this. And of course it was like double the price of everything.
Sure.
But yeah, it was really good.
The
like,
milk,
Sorry.
I was also just amazed at how like cheap food is.
Really?
Of course, like I'm out in the middle of nowhere, and that's actually something I'd like to talk with you about.
Please.
Is the way that people get around out in the middle of nowhere, Austria, and because it's interesting. That there were little things that were different from America. They drive on the same sides of the road, but there were some things that were just different enough to make it feel alien.
Tell me.
Okay. So first thing, I'm out in the middle of nowhere, right? Like it's farmland, like tons and tons of farmland, and roads are set up. Oh, sorry. You want me to wait for you, Roman?
Oh, no. I'm peeing, but I'm keeping the headphones on so I can.
He's got wireless headphones. He can hear you as he urinates.
Okay, sexy. Sexy. I hope that I hope that you watched my videos while you're on the toilet, like so you can hear my voice while you're pissing.
I listened to your videos. I listened to your chess video at the gym on the elliptical machine. Your deep blue.
Yeah, I remember you were like messaging me when you were while you were watching it on the elliptical. Yeah, I distinctly remember that.
It was good.
Right.
So you're in farmland.
Yeah, out in farmland, and I realized shortly before I left that there is something very odd about the automotive scene out there. And it took me a while to figure out what it was. It just felt different. And then I realized there are no pickup trucks.
Okay.
Which is a staple in America.
Yep.
You go out to the country, it's nothing but pickup trucks. It's gas guzzlers everywhere. And then they're actually using the pickup trucks for things, right? They're throwing things in the back and they're carting them around. It's not like buying a pickup truck in the city where like it remains completely spotless. Like these are rough and tumble vehicles that have paint that's chipped off because someone was carrying wood into the back and they just nicked the side. And fuck it. Like I'm not going to go and fix the paint for a pickup out in the country. That's America.
Yeah.
And it's almost threatening in America, right? Like if you take an SUV or a commuter car out into the country, it's like you realize immediately how conspicuous you are.
Yeah.
But
I get that feeling in the Midwest. Here on the East Coast, it's kind of a mix of everything. Because our roads here are from the 1700s. They started in the 1700s. Like the grid network, we just built off of them. The house that you're seeing us in now was built in 1877. So all of this. So if you have a brodozer, you are well aware that some of these streets, you're the entire street running down, and you're kind of that guy, that dick when you park. So that's an issue. So out here, it's a mix of every single vehicle. But once you get out Ohio and past Ohio, really out of the cities in Ohio, then like a goldfish moving to a larger aquarium, everything's these big pickup trucks. And of course, it's not enough to have the pickup truck. You got to space those wheels out. So you put some nice pressure on your wheel hubs. So those bearings are going to wear out faster, but it's worth it. So you got that bit, you have that tires poking out on either side. I want to get one of those see one of those trucks up on a lift, because I wonder how they're doing that. I don't think the people who like lease those trucks have the money to actually get a wider axle or run some weird like dually thing. They have to be spacers in those things, or at the very least, some of them have wheels that are meant. They have the back spacing on the wheels themselves, that so they're not running a spacer between your. I'll tell you all about spacers in one time. Spacers are cock rings, pretty much for trucks. They are like you ever hear of Jelqing? Am I pronouncing it right, Nick?
What?
Jelqing?
Jelqing. Yeah.
Jelqing.
No,
Yeah.
I have heard of this. It's oh dear.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
What I know about it is okay. I know that this is a bit of a tangent, but your dick meat is
Yeah.
like a sponge,
Yeah.
and it soaks up blood. You ever used a sponge a lot and just squeezed it a whole bunch? You know,
Mhm.
you keep a sponge for maybe a little too long and you squeeze it out lots.
Mhm.
You know how it starts to sort of curl up and not be as voluminous?
Mhm.
Yeah, same thing. Don't jelk.
What I heard is that I saw a video. No way, it wasn't a video. It was a furry porn comic explaining how to do this. And I would never lie to you. And it just says you make a gotcha, like the O-ring thing, and you just like vice grips just you like pull your dick out like and then you start again, you right to the end of it. And I don't know, bro science happens. Or did you hear like it's done differently?
No, I knew the basics. I didn't know. Thank you for teaching me the techniques. Now
No,
I
I'm
want
looking
to
it up
do
right now.
even
This is gonna
less.
fuck up my algorithm. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh dear. Right. Okay. So we were talking about.
It
automotives
auto
in
completes the
Austria.
Jelqing
Yeah, so you
results.
go out to the. You, bro science. That's a very good way of putting it. You go out to the country in Austria, and I realized in like the last week there are no pickup trucks, and like everyone drives around SUVs and commuter cars, even out in the villages. And I don't know if you know this about Europe, but you know how in America you have like long tracts of nothing, then you'll have an opioid town, and then you'll have another
Nice.
long tract of nothing.
Yes.
And then you get to a city. It's not like that in the countryside in Europe, at least in Austria. You have a little village, and then you drive another like 30 seconds, and you have another little village, and there will be little houses that are dotted along. There, along the roads, at least, there's not a whole lot of space of nothing like there is in America, because things are just very much more compact. They are getting fiber optic internet out there.
Oh, come.
Just because
Wasn't
like,
it when we were at
they,
Tom's
like, just,
when we were at Tom's house in
Colorado?
Tom Clark
In the UK.
in the UK? I remember that internet is fast.
It was very good internet.
yeah,
So
it's
we're agreeing
surprising.
with you.
Like,
Yeah, go ahead.
it's surprisingly good. I mean, I'm not going to get into that, but that's commuting is just different. Like or not commuting, they're just getting from one place to another along the roads out there it feels very different.
Does Austria, along the sides of the local roads, do they use overhead power wires?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some places. They don't bury a whole lot.
Okay.
Not to my understanding. So they have a lot of these like SUVs out there out in the countryside, and apparently the SUVs are used in a similar way that pickup trucks are used in America. They just throw it in the back because they don't really need a whole lot more. And apparently this is largely because there is a tax on mileage, or no, not on mileage, excuse me, on horsepower. There's a there's a tax on horsepower for vehicles in Austria.
Really?
So yeah, basically keeps you from using more than you need. Like in America, you don't have anything like that. Like for a while, when the gas prices were spiking, cars moved towards better mileage. But then after a while, like when the gas prices started going down again, the that stopped being a really big selling point, and so suddenly horsepower started getting big. Well, in Europe, that's been controlled. At least in Austria, that's been controlled with a horsepower tax. So you're not buying more than you need effectively. As it turns out, this is really interesting. There are a lot of old tractors out in the countryside, and that's what farmers tend to use to move things from one place to another. It is you go out on the road, you are more likely than not to encounter a tractor.
Just driving on the road.
Just trundling along.
Sometimes we get that around here, but not really outside like Lancaster and things like that, where the Amish are.
No, like you have to go pretty far out until you're hitting, tractor country. Here, or out there, it's just very common.
What sort of vehicles did you drive in or ride in?
I was in an SUV, and I can't recall which kind, I'm afraid. But mostly what I used was a smart car. Little baby thing.
Was it the one where it's just 2 doors and it's like a back seat, but who cares?
No back seat. Yeah, it's like a teeny tiny.
Oh, you had the Smart 4 too, the really tiny one.
Yeah, one of the really little ones.
That thing's interesting. I think they did make automatic versions of that. That, like, the engine is just in the back, like below the floor, and everything in it is super tiny. One of the challenges that the Smart 4.2 had in the US is actually getting good mileage, because it's the downside of having a very tiny engine. Because around town, yes, it'll get good mileage. But if you ask that little thing to go on the highway, that poor little engine has to rev high and stay high. And it can't have highway gearing, because you got to have the torque to like accelerate at a reasonable rate around town. So you generally have short gearing. That's how a tractor that only makes 40 horsepower can move tons and tons of equipment, because it's 40 horsepower, but it's like 100. It's like 290 pound-feet of torque, because it just gears down so low. So that's one of the problems that the smart car had, is that you ask that thing to go on the highway and it's just bzzz, and where your highway mileage is like, I guess 32 or something. It's not fantastic. That's why a Chevrolet Corvette can get better. What was it? We had it in one video where a Chevrolet Corvette on the highway, which is a 6 at the time, I think was either 5.7 liter V8. It was a C6. I think we made the point. Yeah, makes better mileage than an Audi S6, like midsize car with like a V6. Because that thing it had like just different gearing. It had like more sport gearing, whereas a Corvette, the gearing is so low on it. On the highway, that engine's barely turning above idle. Even though it's a huge engine, it's just hardly doing any work. What was something else? Some other point I was going to make. I forget what. I got the facts on Jelqing here.
An abrupt change. Yes.
Clearly that's what the smart car needs to do.
What is Jelqing? Jelqing is a penis stretching exercise. It involves massaging your penis tissues, stretching the skin to create micro tears that look engorged when they heal. This supposedly makes your penis look longer or thicker. But does it actually make a difference? Here's what you need to know. Most of the evidence for Jelqing is anecdotal. No research exists on how successful this practice is or isn't. According to some of the more dubious claims out there, consistent Jelqing can help increase the girth of your penis when you're flaccid and erect. Increase the length of your penis when you're flaccid and erect. Make your erections last longer. Does it actually work? The short answer, not really, but maybe. And then it goes on.
Yeah.
Those are mutually exclusive answers.
It
Literally, fuck off.
It really sounds like they don't have the science to prove it, but also they feel it's a waste of science funds to actively disprove it.
Yeah.
Well, this is one of those problems. This is one of those this is one of those practices. I always like these sorts of bro things. Oh, like where it's like, oh, you just need to be really hard on your genitals. It always sort of squicked me out. So
do you remember that?
Remember what I was saying about this? Oh, sorry.
Remember that scene in The Accountant? Did you ever watch The Accountant?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm afraid not.
Oh, okay. There's this one scene where Ben Affleck plays a guy with like autism, and he's an accountant for the mob, and he's also like a really good hitman. And this is like in the middle of when he was playing Batman. And it's like, it's pretty much like Batman and the accountant are like kind of the same. He just doesn't act in either of the movie, either as Batman or as the accountant. And there's like the scene where it's like sometimes it was like, and this is half me being Nick Mullen, because he had this review of The Accountant where he said, hey, this is a movie about autistic people. And look, they can be real people too. They can be murderers. And there's this one scene where like, this is what stimming is. And all it is Ben Affleck just like, he puts on like strobe lights in his room and plays heavy metal music, and then like puts a roller like on his shins. Like it's one of those like MMA things. Like people try to harden their shins by like taking like a rolling pin to the front of your shin,
right?
And do it really hard to kill all the nerves there, so you can kick really, really hard and not feel it. So
never heard of that.
Oh, it's like a bro science thing, but it's like that's what I feel when I think of people jelqing. They just have strobe lights going and like what's death metal. Give me a like a scream metal band playing in the background as they just. God damn it.
Okay, specifically, there are a lot of melodic metal bands that utilize growling vocals. You're talking about like metalcore.
Okay.
Oh, do you want a small history of like why I'm making the distinction?
Please.
Because I think that you would appreciate it. Metal kind of started with it started getting popular with things like Judas Priest. Like it came, you had the British new wave of heavy metal, and then it sort of came to America. And American and European metal kind of went down different talent trees, right? Like imagine it like a video game sort of thing where you have multiple different talent trees that you're going down. Europe decided to like take a whole bunch of different little talent trees and then combine them all. They got very melodic. Sometimes they got very intense, like with black metal. American metal, Metallica happened, and then Killswitch Engage happened, and then any sort of advancement in American metal stopped. Like America has been stuck for so long. But the reason being, there's a huge market of like dude bros who just love the same kind of metal over and over again with the same growling and like screaming techniques, the same sort of melodies on the guitars, the same like rhythm guitar over and over and over again. And don't forget to include the breakdown. So you go to the jug, jug, jug. Jug, jug.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that. That is every single metalcore song, but because it's familiar, like the dude bros like to think that they're really tough, but they cannot handle anything outside of their comfort zone. So whenever an American metal band does anything other than metalcore, and they don't like the vocalist doesn't sound exactly the same as the other vocalist, they get scared, and then they can't flex as hard, and they like in the gym. Like they can't pump as hard because now they're being introduced to something new. It's like they have the same reaction as when like the rubber on some of the cables on the workout machines change. They see it and they get scared, and then they can't pump as much iron, and they're like, oh no, like what, why can I do it? Well, it's the rubber, it's scary, it's new. And like meanwhile over in Europe, like they're making beautiful melodic metal and they're experimenting, and America is just over here jacking off pumping iron.
Should call it Jelq rock.
Jelq rock.
American metal is like, American metal has progressed in the same way that American metal is like a person that refuses to masturbate in any way except one way. Like they refuse to experiment. It's just
never shoved a finger up his own
ass. I like this, right? I'll just go for 3 minutes and then I'm happy. No experimentation, no interest, no desire.
Never put on old Weather Channel music and made a cup of tea.
Right.
Pulling the shit.
Like, but if I touch my butthole, I might be gay. No, it's that kind of thing. Like if I start touching anything other than the shaft, what if I what if I start rubbing the perineum? What if I accidentally touch my butthole when I'm doing that? What I might become gay. I'm sorry. I went way off.
Those are the same guys, like naked all the time guys at the gym. Yeah. There's like pants last. I told you about pants last. We talked about pants last. The different names of people at my gym. There's pants last. There's like 80. There's pants last because that's what he does. He puts on his pants last. He'll have his button-down dress shirt back on again, but no pants. Socks on, no pants, no underwear. Wow. Got to keep those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't know. I was just going to name other guys.
Okay. I was going to respond to Grant Garvey and say, it's like, yes, Brendan Small is American, but look at what he makes. It is so obviously European inspired, right? Like it's all melodic death metal.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's his thing. A melodic death metal is a distinctly Scandinavian thing.
Did you, when you were in Austria, did you go anywhere else in Europe while you were there?
No, the pandemic was like, I get there and like Omicron is starting to rage. It's like, or like, yeah, they're talking about Omicron moving.
I need to pee.
Do we want to get to super chats?
Do you want to hang out for super chats?
I mean, oh yeah, sure. I was just gonna say I have been there other times though, and I have been on like the public transportation, and I've been to Vienna.
Ooh,
yeah,
good song.
So did you do trains, buses, combination of the two?
Trains. Mainly the trains in Vienna are awesome. Another thing that I wanted to mention about the roads out in the country, it's very hilly. Tons and tons of hills, because it's all just rolling hillsides. It's picturesque. There are a lot more tunnels. There are tons of tunnels. Where in America, they'll sort of like run on the outside of the hill. In Austria, they just said fuck it and tunneled through it.
Yeah.
And all of their tunnels are in very good condition. In fact, they specifically have ventilation on the top of them. So if you get stuck inside of them, you're not going to suffocate.
Yeah.
And in fact, if your car breaks down inside of these tunnels, they have a whole bunch of phones dotted all the way through these tunnels, because these are very long tunnels. The kind that you really don't see in America. And if your car breaks down, there will be someone with I don't know what department does it, but someone with the state who basically calls you and is like, all right, here's what you need to do. And they step you through. Like they're keeping an eye on the tunnels in case anyone gets stuck in there.
Oh yeah. Cause if your cell phone probably won't work.
Right. Exactly. So they have systems in place to basically keep people from hitting you and getting you out quickly.
Yeah. The Blue Mountain tunnels on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, there's like nothing in there.
Nope.
You're just in them.
I don't even think there's like an access door or hatch.
I don't know. You see like some doors, and like you can tell when these were made. They have like shitty frat house tile on the inside of them, and they're all coming off, and it's raining constantly inside the tunnel. There's like water coming in. They're pretty long though. So okay, Fred, we've reached the section in the chat where we get paid and we power through all of these questions. You are free to stay as short as you like, and feel free to chime in anytime you want. Nick, just take the driver's seat because I gotta pee like none other, and I'm probably gonna get some tea going on.
Go for it.
All right, enjoy
and
yourself.
It's gonna be microwave, and you told me that when you heat up water in the microwave, it turns gay.
Yeah.
Don't
let the touch your butthole.
All right.
I
don't have wireless headphones, so I can't hear anything.
So let's see.
Oh, sweet. We can shit talk him now.
Yeah. All right. So we are starting with. Oh wait. Why? There we go. All right. So let's see. Hunter Aman, $5. Thank you so much. Is therapy going well, Brian? He'll answer that when he gets back. Nick, how's learning manual coming along? It's been going well. It's just been kind of a long process because I imagine there are things that click for other people and just sort of fall into place. And I am not one of those people, which is not to say that anything that you would learn would just suddenly click into place, because that kind of minimizes the amount of work involved in trying to learn a thing and learn it well. Obviously, anything worth learning is going to take a lot of effort, but I always feel like I should understand by now, and I just don't. Like, I'm getting better every day, but it's not necessarily an everyday thing because, realistically, I'm not out there every day, and I really should be. But there are some things that are, like I'm very busy a lot. It's something where some days I don't even really go anywhere. And sometimes I don't really want to. It's just something where I'm indoors getting all of my work done that I possibly can. And it's something where I'll literally forget to drive somewhere. It's something that I enjoy doing, but now it's almost like I have to remind myself to do it because I'm so laser focused on what it is I'm doing that I don't know. I'm prone to forgetting some stuff. When are y'all coming to SLC? And if so, review my $360 1990 Honda Accord. That is a very generous offer. We were just talking about Greg International's 1990 Honda Accord when we were riding earlier. And it's interesting because I find that like early 90s Honda Accords, somehow they just keep on trucking. And I mean, it's basic. Like, how complex is it really, I suppose? But I think there's just something about Honda Accords that are remarkably durable. And if nothing else, if you don't care about being really the belle of the ball anywhere you go, a Honda Accord will do you right.
You want a cookie?
Oh, sure. I'm always down for cookies. But yeah. And as for coming to SLC, I mean, the next trip is PNC Part 2. Talking about, or PCH. There we go. Pacific Coast Highway. Why did I say PNC? It's like a place, not a bank. The whole idea of travel now it's kind of weird, but hopefully we're over the worst of it. And because honestly, we haven't really been anywhere per se since Phoenix, right? Well, like the pandemic more or less started when we were in Phoenix, so that by the time we got back to Pennsylvania, we were doing like various color coding so that, certain counties were in red and others were in yellow. And it's just sort of a strange thing to come back to. Yeah, it's just, travel is such a weird thought to have. at the moment, but I mean, it's coming. Hopefully, knock on wood. But thank you again for the. Yeah. Oh, Fred. Yeah. What's up?
Oh no, I was just saying, yeah, I'm quarantining right now after my flight. Because holy shit, it is like traveling in America. Like the trip in Europe and from Europe was okay. You know, everyone needs to be tested, but then like in America, they removed any limitations. You just got to wear a mask now, and even that is barely enforced. So it's like,
just at airports. I just got back.
At airports, on planes.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was just we were just saying like Europe is going really hard on tests. Like you need a negative test if you're going to fly or do anything in Austria. But tests are all free and really easy to get.
Yeah. You can, like Schuylkill County around here, you can't get any tests. There are no. I mean, yeah, you can go to like CVS and get the 7-day one, but if you need a rapid, they're not available. And I think you have to have symptoms to get it. And because people have been hoarding them.
Yeah, aren't they like they're being scalped for like $75 a pop, right?
Fuck that. So where do we leave off, Nick?
Oh, we are at deference to dusk.
Deference to dusk. Thank you for your donation. I picked up a 1983 Datsun 280ZX in really good condition for $8,000. Very good. T-tops are in good condition too. That's a good thing because those weather seals on the T-tops are usually the first to go, and then you can't drive it. And if you get caught in the rain, it leaks. Awesome. Thanks.
Oh, I like it. And the first half of Hunter Amon's question up top. Oh, but it was one for you.
Okay. Forrest says, when are you guys coming to SLC?
No, not that one. The one above it.
Did you answer that one?
Yeah.
Where's SLC?
I don't know. I just mentioned the boilerplate about travel and how PCH2 is next.
Southern Lancaster County?
I
don't know. Maybe is that an airport code? Hunter Amon says, is therapy going well? I haven't been to my therapist in 2 weeks. One, because I was away. I was doing Flappy New Year. Did I tell you about that, Fred?
Oh, Salt Lake City.
Oh, Salt Lake City. No, I want to. Heard Utah is great. And I heard the whole thing about Utah is stop saying how great Utah is. Don't move here. Don't turn this into another Colorado. So yeah, saw a therapist. My therapy homework is over there in the crate that I have my records in, where it's like understanding cognitive dissonance and or not cognitive dissonance, emotional something, cognitive distortions. Because that was the whole thing, like saying, thinking, people online don't really like you. You've only tricked them into liking you.
All lies. You tell
yourself.
Yeah.
Because they didn't message you back means they hate you. Stuff like that.
Oh, it's okay. All social interaction is performative, whether online or in real life. Nobody will ever get to know the true you anyways.
Well, you're speaking my inner monologue. Like, if you really be yourself, everyone will leave. Yeah, like that sort of stuff. But of course, and then the point of those assignments and those worksheets over there is to say, okay, now what's the evidence against this? Well, take, for instance, like Foster and Donovan. They don't really like you. Well, what are you talking about? Foster drove from Cincinnati to hang out with you and go fly airplanes. He clearly is your friend. Donovan is making you drinks. You're invited back in like 2 or 3 weeks to just hang out. Of course they like you. And extrapolate about that. So yeah, therapy is going well. And then Nick talked about learning manual transmission. So I have to make, honestly, I've been feeling fine because I just recorded Flappy New Year, and that was a big boost to my well-being and felt like I belonged there. So that was good. And whether I come out to my parents or not, it's kind of like pointless. I think Kenny, my therapist, wants me to, but I'm like, well, I don't want to disappoint them more because that feels like what I've lived through. Like I was the disappointing son who got a million chances. My brother was the hard worker who had more going against him, also gay, but he came out like in college or shortly after or whatever. And he was the one who got good grades. I was the one who wasn't. I was just pulling e-brake turns in my car all the time. So anyway, so I don't want to tell my parents because, hey, guess what? There are no grandkids coming ever. I mean, you could always adopt, but I don't want kids.
Yeah, neither do
Never.
I. I'm fine being an uncle.
Yeah. So there's still stuff to do. There's still work to do. Rocky LaRouge says, "Howdy doody from your local dingus." I just love that term, dingus.
Such a satisfying.
That'd be
word.
funny to tell Bob that when he just comes in with his like boomer talk at the cafe to just call an old man dingus. I hope all is well with both of you. I'm garbage at solo conversation, so apologize in advance. Progress on the Twitter Lexus. I don't know what a Twitter Lexus is. Wait, something we must have talked about.
Did we skip some? Did we go up? Oh, all right, because we didn't start at the top.
Yeah, top is the most recent.
Oh, top is the most recent.
Yeah,
oh,
so we're starting from the very beginning. Like we're going in your call will be answered in the order in which it was received.
It's been a hot minute, so I completely forgot about that page.
Paul Unasak says the world is a vampire. And like Fred, we were talking about in the beginning, like what if that song was just "Oh, the world is gay," but that's like the only lyrics to the song. Because like before the stream started, we were talking about like the giveaway car after next is like the scene I'd love to have, but the YouTube robots would catch it immediately, and then because I pass for straight so easily, even people would think it would be a hateful comment, but it would be me in this car. And here's another clue to what kind of car it is. It just begs you to do burnouts all the time, smoky stuff, driving, drifting around everything, and just like the shot would be drift, and I somehow like do a pretty good like drift turn, like right up to the camera, and I'm there in the car. It's like I'm doing burnouts, and I'm gay, and just go like that, and that's the opening to the video. But
I mean, it would be a factual statement. You're a gay man doing burnouts. Apparently the Twitter Lexus is the one guy on Twitter with the LFA.
Oh shit, son. I got a DM from a friend of a friend who knows him. But oh god, his team made the brown gooey.
Eating on Mike. Eating on Mike.
It's Matto says with a very generous $30 Australian. Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy Thursday. I assume it's Friday morning here. I stink of tire smoke and methanol fumes because I've been working at Summer Knots Car Festival, aka the Congression of the Bogans. Nice. So that's out there. Thank you very much. Don't have a question, but thank you for contributing. The actual team, Ryan. What do you need?
Now I have to pee
again,
because I've been drinking a shitload of water.
The actual team, Ryan, with a generous donation. Thank you. If you guys have another giveaway car, yeah, we're gonna do one every month, pretty much. Is there a chance of something more brown? Yes. We need to build the email list. For the moment, it's gonna for probably the next year. It's gonna be fun cars because that's what people like. But yes, we will do some like. I would love to have just a Toyota Camry. I don't know if they ever came in brown, but it would be fun to just wrap it brown. I want to support the channel, but I'm just not into ultra turbo performance shit. I get it. I would love to have a chance to win some Malaysia boat. Yes, like a Chrysler Cordoba or something like that. Chrysler Cordoba, Fred, if you've ever heard the phrase rich Corinthian leather, that's the car that used to, the original Chrysler Cordoba in the ads, they were the first people to say rich Corinthian leather in the 70s.
Understood.
Evan Paul says, welcome back. Hope you've enjoyed your well-deserved break. I enjoyed it. Jacked off a lot and didn't do anything. It was terrific. Boris T.S. Karloff says, Happy New Year to my favorite car podcast. Happy New Year. Normally, Fred, it's not like this. Normally, people ask us questions and I have to solve problems, but people are just saying thanks. Brumo Jack doesn't have a question, but thank you for the donation. Patrick McFarland says, Props to you, guy, for calling Rogan out on becoming a tad repetitive. Yeah. Are you still into? I love Tim Dillon. He was supposed to come to Reading.
Was he?
Yeah. And I'm like, shit, I should have gone there. Fred, Tim Dillon. You ever listen to Tim? You know Tim Dillon, that comedian?
No, I'm afraid not.
Okay. So, you know where, how do you categorize Tim Dillon? He is this. Let me talk and eat at the same time. How would you describe Tim Dillon?
Oh gosh, that's a tough one. Like postmodern frat boy type thing. Or not even necessarily that, like post frat deconstruction. I don't know.
Yeah. Tim Dillon said, "I'm gay, but it doesn't count," because he is the type of like LGBTQ comedian that I relate to deeply, because he passes for straight like so easily, like I do. He's just some big guy from Long Island who sold subprime mortgages like during the housing crisis. And he sometimes has bits where he dresses up as people, but doesn't even try to hide the voice. He had this really good Meghan McCain thing. I send you that. That one went viral. But Tim Dillon's amazing. Like, Tim Dillon is my weightlifting music. So he gets really like excited.
Sorry, I just need to check because I think I might have missed
one
in the beginning. It's entirely my fault for reading it backwards. You can keep talking.
Okay. I'll send you a link to some of Tim Dillon's clips. Like, he has a lot of good like Instagram videos, and I think he did Vine back when Vine was a thing. But now his podcast is really good. It's like intentionally outrageous stuff in a very kind of remember when 4chan was good, 4chan was never good, sort of thing. I'll send you some clips. Kind of hard to, I guess, like if you wanted to get academic like he was on Cumtown twice, and it's amazing. They had this bit called Pierre St. Pierre, the pussy-eating champion of post-Katrina New Orleans. And like, someone so reprehensible, he's on like the city board meetings of things we have to repair. And one guy is just called Pierre St. Pierre.
Yeah. So I skipped over the first 3. So it's Hunter Rahman, then Nick, then Bob.
Hunter Rahman, Hunter Rahman says, my dudes. Nick Kennedy says, can't stay for the whole stream, but I fucking love you guys. Have some dollars.
Thank you so much.
Bob says, how about
you
Matrix?
For supporting my friend.
Thank you,
Fred. Thank you. And thank you for staying. Thank you for keeping us company throughout all this. Normally it's just Nick and me. We hardly have any guests, but it feels very nice to have you on the podcast.
It feels nice to have a third. That sounded
wrong. Shucks. I'm glad that you invited me in to spice up the relationship.
So how about Matrix
Metamucil? I hope
this is like
a
double chocolate cookie.
Back.
Did you? Honestly, you do. So for people who are listening,
sorry, that joke was dumb.
Fred is going to be our fixer and camera car driver for RCR Pacific Northwest. Finally, we're getting back on the road. We are finally going to have our first. I don't think we're going to have a car meet.
Yeah, it doesn't seem.
It doesn't seem right to have that during these times, trademark, and also like psychologically, it's tough to have a car meet. I mean, Fred and I had this talk. We met at Too Many Games in the greater Philadelphia area, or rather Oaks, PA. And it was interesting to see how you handled like internet fame, because there were people like following you around and like entertaining people's questions. But me having a car meet where Nick and I are the center of attention all day, and you have to be on all day, man, is that tiring. Because I feel like I have to entertain people. And a tough thing about the car world, and tell me how this maybe relates to, I don't know, video games, or internet lore with what you do is that a lot of what people want to tell me about is the car that they have, and it feels like they expect me to agree that they made a good choice in what they have. Like, and half the time it's like all Subarus are pretty much the same and all Miatas are the same. Oh, you have a Toyota 86, an FRS, a BRZ. Yeah, they're good. It's like the thing that really excites me is when someone's rolling around in a total shit box and like is super into it. That excites me a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you
I think I'm very fortunate in the sense that I don't talk about myself. I talk about other specific things, and my opinion is, while it's impossible to avoid bias, my opinion is never overt or apparent, and so people aren't necessarily seeking my approval because I never offered my approval or disapproval of anything in my content in the first place. So usually, when someone like talks to me about my work or like says that they like my work, they usually start engaging with the subject, which is sort of gratifying for me, and I don't have to really be on. And this is the kind of thing I like talking about in the first place anyway. So I got lucky. I mean, I was kind of strategic about it, but in terms of my content, I'm lucky in that sense that I don't really have to be on.
Yeah, you never presented as on. Yeah.
Did you get? It's not about like. Oh, sorry. It's just I was just saying it's just because it's someone might like my work, but I feel like it works on a level that people have unless you're a video editor or a writer, you're not going to really get a lot of the subtle things that I'm doing. So I don't really have to talk too much about like people are more talking about the topic.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I really like your work, and they don't quite understand why. Maybe they'll hazard a guess and be like, I really like the way that you do this, and it's like they're trying to guess at why something is working, but it's clear that they don't have any experience in it, and that's fine. But usually, if someone doesn't know, then they'll move on pretty quickly, and the videos already provide a lot of information on interesting things, so it doesn't have to linger on me for very long.
Yeah. Did you get recognized when you were at all in Austria?
Oh, no. People don't recognize me outside of the internet.
Oh, okay.
No.
Did you get recognized at home?
I don't think I've ever been recognized in real life unless it's an event that I've specifically been at, like where people would know me. Online people, a place for specifically online people.
Gotcha. Back to the super chats. Car Foolery says, my $500 1991 MR2 automatic is now up to 346,000 miles. Amazing. Superior Toyota, Jarl Toyota, and I'm getting ready to cover everything with kill mat to sound insulation. Really? You're going to make an MR2 heavier? That better... What do you want to go cross country with it? In my opinion, you can't make an MR2 quiet. An MR2, Fred, was called the poor man's Ferrari, although it's built way better than a Ferrari. It was a tiny little car with the engine in the middle of the car. So it has a trunk in the front. It has a frunk in the frunk in the front, and it has a trunk in the back. And the engine sits in front of the rear axle. Behind the driver, there is, of course, a firewall and a window between that.
Finally, a frunk and a trunk. Like I don't have to store my balls together. I can put one in one and one in the other.
Hell yeah,
perfect.
And it is also a very light car. But when you put in kill mat, you're adding like 50 pounds of that car. You're carrying around another battery. But if you're See, this is like where my mind thinks. Like, if you want to have a quiet two-seater, there are better ways to go about it than an MR2. But hey, your car, your canvas. Thank you for the donation.
Yeah, he says in the chat, I'm going to try. My girlfriend and I road trip it all the time. I want to see how comfy I can make it.
Good. Okay. That's
Rock
fair.
and roll.
That's fair. Very legal, very cool. My 1991 all-wheel drive Astro van. Now, this is the shit I like. The official car of 1982. The official car of 82-year-old ski patrollers. Yes. Being a big skier, I know these guys. Guys in their fucking 80s who outski 30-year-olds. These guys ski effortlessly, and I want to be that guy when I want to ski until the day I die. When you visit the Pacific Northwest, are you coming to Mount Rainier, Seattle too, or only the PDX suburbs and Mount St. Helens? As of now, it's going to be later in the year. It's going to be mid-March. The date, we already locked down the dates. I think I sent them to you, right, Fred?
Oh. Yes, you did.
Okay. That's a little bit late to be skiing. And Fred, you can ski, but kind of, or...
No, I've only been cross-country skiing.
Oh, okay. I'd happily teach you, but that's like a whole nother thing. And I have very, very wide feet. So I spent the money to have specially made ski boot liners molded to the shape of my feet. So I can ski without pain. So I have to take my boots everywhere I go, which is great because now I have comfy boots. But if I'm going skiing, then I'm going skiing. I'm not editing. I'm not, because we are going to have all our camera gear and everything, and then ski gear on top of that. I'm going to be like it's going to be like some, what was that era in film where they were still trying to do like slapstick stuff? Like it was the, remember that film we watched in Schwartz class? It was where the original term "Oh brother, where art thou" came from.
No, I cannot recall.
It was the transition era of old Hollywood and new Hollywood. This is like early 60s, where you still had the big musical numbers, and you had the guys who acted, and then like Bringing Up Baby. That's old Hollywood.
Yeah,
and like if like. Someone getting their like the old money New Englander who has like a porter that just follows them around at the train station, and they do a whole like pratfall bit of all their luggage for like a 2-day thing, and they have that little cart coming off, and like the lady has a parasol and a little poodle and all this shit, and that's like knee slapping comedy right there.
Knee slapping. It's physical comedy.
So that's me if I needed to carry all my ski gear and film things. So no, very legal, very cool. We're going to focus on making the best videos we can around Mount St. Helens. And then our plan is to I have to look at my calendar because I live visually. Plan is to fly there, get settled in. I always have an extra day between filming day and travel day. Yes. In case flights are canceled or something happens, we have a whole nother day that can be just thrown in the trash if we're still like stuck somewhere.
Yeah. And
it takes another day to get to the West Coast. And if we don't, great. We have that day. And usually what I like to do is just scope out the film thing.
Yeah.
So if Fred's available, great. We'll just drive up to Mount St. Helens the day before and just have a look to see what film shots we like. And so you don't have to make.
I'm going to do my best to get ahead of work. Right now, I'm trying to get my video done in time for Eve Fan Fest because the video is going to be on Eve Online. Yeah, and so I've charted it out so that for the next few months, I need to write 850 words of rough draft a day. Oh my God, are you okay?
Wrong hole.
San Francisco.
Rice-A-Roni.
You good?
We're playing chicken with the stream.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're unavailable, there are plenty of other ways for us to get to Mount St. Helens. And then the plan is after filming, I can't remember if it's 1 day of filming or 2 days of filming.
I do not recall either.
Yeah, I forget how many cars I scheduled. Fuck, did I even schedule cars yet? I can get cars anywhere.
Yeah.
Hey. So now that we have dates set up, ideally, I kind of want to do 1 day of filming, but I don't want to do a 3-car shoot. That would be hell.
No, that would be a nightmare.
Like it may be 2 days. It depends what's out there. If we have something awesome, it could be 2 days. And then after filming, Nick hangs around for a day, but you're going to be on a separate flight, so you go home.
Yes.
And then I get like 2 more days to just hang out with Fred and like actually be a tourist where I am. Or just like I don't really have any desire to go downtown Portland because we already did that to see other stuff around the area.
I'm not much of a city person. I'm very much not a city person.
Me neither. Yeah. The only like
if anything, oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, if anything, going to the coast would be lovely.
Hell yeah. I'd be about that. Yeah. Dr. Thermostat. It's an awesome name.
Oh, wait a minute. Ryan, have
Fred.
you been to the the Oregon Coast Aquarium?
I have not.
I'm taking you.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
It's a date. Perfect. Dr. Thermostat says, good news. After a lot of dealing with crappy software, RCR and RCR Stories is now completely backed up to the current episode. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Baconator 69.
Hey.
2001 Dodge Neon SE, the official car of broken engine mounts. Shit, you broke your engine mounts? Man, I had a 2000 Dodge Neon SE. God, what a pile of Dodge. And I love that car too. I'm glad I hit the deer. The best thing that could happen to it was the insurance money. And thank you for supporting the channel. Cooper Billups, and we'll need the sign.
Right.
Cooper Billups says, hey, Mr. Regular, do you like the Decemberists? Funny you mentioned the Decemberists. Fred and I had this conversation in the before times to form some kind of Decemberist cover band because I love the song Sons and Daughters, and Fred plays the hurdy-gurdy, and there's a hurdy-gurdy in that song. And to be able to play that song at like Too Many Games or something like that, because Tim Strickler knows how to play the whatchamacallit guitar. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
I fucking love the Decemberists.
Yeah.
Here I Dreamt I Was an Architect is one of my favorite songs. I'm nothing of a sailor.
I'm going to sing about antiquated transportation technology.
It's like a sea. They write like sea shanties no one can sing along to. It's just one guy.
Yeah.
It's like a sea shanty only one guy is singing. Like we don't have that Stan Rogers vibe.
No.
Oh,
Stan fucking Rogers. Yo, I told this Chris guy. I met this one guy at Flappy New Year who is an opera singer, classically trained opera singer, and then he never heard of Stan Rogers. And I'm like, you sound just like Stan Rogers, like when he sings, because he's like a baritone. And well, I played you the bit of him singing Broken by Abdominal. And yeah, I'm like, and I just played him. I didn't play him Northwest Passage. I played him. I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers.
Yeah.
And he because he's a professional, he immediately copied it.
Yeah.
Like right there as he's hearing it. It was a fucking sexiest thing I've ever heard. So yes, love the Decemberists.
Right?
It's like asking an opera singer to just sing a sea shanty is like asking a race car driver to drive a Power Wheels. Do you have Power Wheels growing up, Fred?
Sea shanties are made to be easy to sing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I could imagine someone doing a sea shanty version of the Crossfire.
Yeah, you'll get caught up in the crossfire. Crossfire. And like the commercial.
God,
for that.
a million years ago, I learned how to play the Black Flags theme on the hurdy-gurdy, and it just sounds so sick.
What's that? Black Flag?
From
The band Black
have
Flag?
you heard it?
The band Black Flag or the Assassin's Creed game?
There was a show called Black Flags that had a really sick ass intro. I don't know. It kind of got it's in the similar vein of Game of Thrones, I think, but just with pirates.
Black Sails?
Black Sails, that's what it is.
There we go. Yeah,
it's on Small Brain. Yeah, I learned that on the Gertie, and it's so satisfying.
This?
Yeah. Just wait.
You know, if I did this on the tablet, I could just patch it into the board.
It's true, but then you get copyright claimed.
That's true. Oh, okay.
Dope.
Yeah, they actually used a Gertie for it. Although the funny thing is, it's likely that the Gertie was used by pirates because it was contemporary. But Gerties are particularly fussy instruments, and it's almost certain that like the wheel would have gotten warped and the strings would constantly be going out of tune because the tuning, like, it would slip on the tuning pegs and the strings would be old. So whenever you hear a hurdy-gurdy in a pirate setting, it's always like warbly and sort of, and they're constantly bending the notes. It's pretty funny.
Question for Roman: how is the Kia? How is Red Betty? Also, I love limited time Roman.
Oh, thank you so much. I'll let Nate know. Yeah, I think I see him. Yeah, I see him tomorrow. So we should probably do like a new episode of Limited Time Roman. It's just we review weird foods on my personal channel. But yeah, it is going well, and the Kia is great. I received a free set of winter tires from some RCR fans who,
hell yeah,
they were the nicest people in the world. It was a guy and his son, and I'm so sorry that I'm blanking on the name right now. It was a couple of weeks ago, and I took them for a coffee and we sat and talked for a bit. And I don't know, they were like the nicest people and went out of their way to help. And so I'm very, very grateful for that. Red Betty's doing fine. She's trudging along. I mean, I honestly, part of me doesn't think she'll be viable that much longer just because she's been through a lot, because she is being dailied and has been for the past like 5 years and change. So I don't know. I'm just gonna keep her as long as I can. But I'm still enjoying the experience of being a Mustang owner. So yeah, no complaints on my end.
Cool.
Yeah.
Judd Kramer for $6.69. Nice. What are your guys' thoughts on the Cowboy Bebop Netflix remake? Haven't seen it.
It's already been canceled, so I doubt I'll get around to it.
Yeah.
I started watching the original Cowboy Bebop recently, and it is very, very good.
Yeah, it is good. Yeah.
It's fantastic. Great driving music too. I mean, the whole soundtrack's fantastic. There's a little bit kind of like cornball stuff, but yeah. Too Good to Be Bad is my favorite track.
There are some things that market as being a late 90s show, but I feel like it's in a comfy way.
Yes. That's a good way of putting it.
I feel women weren't adequately represented. There's a lot of like bimbos and big titties everywhere.
There are a lot of things that marked it as a late 90s show.
Yeah. There are like aspects of it that didn't age particularly well. But in the grand scheme of things, like I feel as though it's more notable for style over the actual story itself. So I don't know. It's a fascinating piece of media, but I don't know about the remake.
Well, I mean, I know you're trying to wrap up, so I won't go on a.
Please, no, literally, we can do whatever you want.
You want it? Yeah. Well, I think it's very interesting because I feel like the existence of Cowboy Bebop is like it was a very important show. And it did a lot of things that got used in science fiction and popular science fiction later on. But I don't think any of it could have happened without the weird sort of way that Japan makes its media and just modern. But Japan was kind of ahead of everyone else. But Japan kind of started, I think, like especially early on with. Are you familiar with database theory?
I am not.
I am not.
As a literary theory. So the idea is that
English stuff.
Very nice.
Yeah, you ready to learn some literature?
Hell
Yes.
yeah. Database
yeah,
theory.
so well, I mean, obviously you know it, but this is a really interesting theory that I learned about in college. Because I'm not a big anime person, but I took a course on it. The theory is that their narratives used to be, because we didn't have such rapid communication technology, narratives used to have a lot of stories based around a single idea. So you'd have a single national narrative, and then that will be explored through a lot of different media, or a lot of different art pieces and stories and books, whatever. Then, as the internet came about, that sort of changed. Now, instead of having one large narrative, you have a lot of what the author referred to as databases, where, so for example, you have Western, sci-fi, fantasy. Like you have all of these different databases, and then you create narratives by pulling from multiple different databases. So for example, Cowboy Bebop would be Western and science fiction and noir. And so it's pulling from all these different databases. And I think that the way that Cowboy Bebop did it was extremely influential, and I can't help but wonder what sci-fi would look like if Japan hadn't been ahead of the curve and started creating content, especially anime, by pulling from those databases with that sort of narrative method, or not narrative method, but like creative method.
Maybe it would be stuck still in the sort of idealistic classic sci-fi. You're talking about like Buck Rogers stuff, where it's like we're in space and that's the point,
right? And I feel like Japanese sci-fi kind of started toying around with that a lot, with that idea a lot more, and it influenced it a lot. I mean, just think about something like The Expanse.
What's that?
And think about how much Cowboy Bebop might have influenced it.
Well, The Expanse is.
I'm not super familiar with it, but a lot of the themes that are explored in it maybe weren't explored quite as much in older science fiction.
Yeah,
and I can't help but wonder.
Yeah, it's interesting to think, because like The Expanse is kind of like right on that, straddling the line between hard science fiction and space opera, I would suppose. It's a TV series. It's based on a series of books from a guy who was George R. R. Martin's, I want to say, like editor or something along those lines, and or two guys actually, but they have a pseudonym where it's just one person, if I remember correctly. Not entirely sure, but yeah, there are people who swear by The Expanse. I really need to get into it. I just haven't had the time that I would to like take on a new show yet, but it's interesting.
Yeah, I think that one thing Cowboy Bebop really gave us was the concept of high-tech low life outside of cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're in space, but so
cyberpunk,
what?
Cyberpunk kind of created the concept of, the high-tech low life. But I think that Cowboy Bebop went a long way to humanizing them, because I feel like the people in cyberpunk narratives often aren't super realistic. They're like overly gritty, and
I'm sorry. When you recommended Caves of Steel to me, that sort of like that guy was like, I'm a hard-boiled cop,
Oh, he doesn't exist, right? Like those are characters. Those aren't actual people. But then like Cyberpunk goes even farther, where it's like these people are almost comically gruff and intense, and like everyone is just like so like has been mainlining tropes since they were 6.
That's a line.
And
mainlining tropes.
That is. That's a great line.
They cannot move out of them. And I mean, it makes sense, right? Because the idea is that in a cyberpunk world, you are inundated with media, and then you start emulating that media, right? Does art imitate life, or does life imitate art?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, grim dark, right? It's like cyberpunk is almost comically grim dark, and I feel like Cowboy Bebop has been really interesting in the sense of like you still have those noir tropes, and these people are absolutely playing them up, but they feel more human.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're more relatable than I think a lot of cyberpunk characters.
Yes.
So it's sort of I can't help but wonder if Cowboy Bebop was sort of one of the transitory pieces of science fiction that helped science fiction evolve into its next phase.
Yeah.
That's a very salient
Sorry,
point.
you got me talking about.
No,
like,
it's cool. Love
like,
passion.
We can do whatever we want on this podcast.
Yeah.
And you're here,
That's fair.
so please.
I really miss doing this kind of thing, like I did in college, because like that's all you do in college, right?
Yes.
You try to make these connections. I miss it. I really miss being surrounded by people who are just doing that all the time.
Hang out with us when we write. That is all it is. It's just riffing and saying, well, how can we shove all this academic stuff in terms of a car? And half the time we're not talking about a car.
Nope.
It's like Mikey Fence.
I love it.
Mikey Fence-Democker. That's gonna be that's just us being gross.
And now I have to.
I heard Mikey Fence-Democker can't use the computers in the computer lab because even when he plays jazz ball, he busts. We have this bit coming up in like this video, like for an agonizing 1/4 of the video, it's just gonna be talking about this one kid who doesn't exist called Mikey Fence-Democker, and suddenly we're like in like the 10th grade or something like that. It's like, I heard like it all comes from this one bit of the joke starts because we got a picture of this manual of this car, and it has like, if your kid shouldn't sit in the front because an airbag, and if he sits in the front with an airbag, he has to have a booster seat on it, and
he got to have a booster seat.
So the picture is just this dipshit. It's a Japanese car, so but for an American audience. So the fun thing about buying Japanese cars, I've owned 2 of them, is their manual for the car has like Astro Boy style anime in it. And the car itself is like this little chibi thing to like saying, don't drive too fast in the rain, blah, blah, blah. But if you have a world car, like a Corolla that's sold everywhere, or say, for instance, the Celica that you were rolling around in, the American manual will be just, plain factual, but occasionally it will have some like drawings of people, and the drawing of the kid in the booster seat, the kid looks like, I think they were trying to make a point, like your kid may be 10 years old or 12 years old, but if he's not big enough, if he's just too small, he really should be sitting in like a booster seat in the front seat. Fair enough. But this kid, they made him look like the biggest ding dong, just like this, this complete dipshit in there. And we're like, who is like, but occasionally, and then I thought about this one kid who I knew who was a little bit, he wasn't like he was short or anything like that, but he had like a weird relationship with his parents. And we like all like had these rumors about him, but like when cars started getting airbags, when they were mandated, I think in the United States, airbags were mandated, I think in like 97 or something like that. So that would have been second half of freshman year. And we're going to call him Mikey Fence-Democker. His mom made him ride in the back of the car. So he'd sometimes get picked up from school, and it's like, Mikey Fence-Democker's mom makes him ride in the back of the car. What is up with that? Why can't he ride in the front of the car?
I hear Mikey Fence-Democker still needs a kid's seat.
I heard Mikey Fence-Democker that he has to. I heard Mikey Fence-Democker still uses kid toothpaste. I heard Mikey Fence-Democker, his mom puts on his tidy whities for him. I heard Mikey Fence is the reason we don't have the good buses anymore to go to the aquarium, because when he rides in, I heard the janitor has to give him a ride to the aquarium, and he can't ride on the bus with anybody else because when he rides the bus, he busts. He's just like making up these horrible rumors about this kid.
All of this.
Yo, I heard when Mikey pees, he busts.
I heard Mikey Fenstemacher's mom gets him new pants every week because he soils them regularly.
I heard Mikey. I heard every time Mikey takes a shit, he busts.
I heard that I heard that Mikey Fenstemacher pulls his pants all the way down to his ankles when he takes a piss.
I heard Mikey Fenstemacher shit his pants when he did that.
Oh, yeah.
I heard I heard that when Mikey Fenstemacher pisses, he busts.
I came in the bathroom one time. I swear to God, Mikey Fenstemacher was pissing in the drain in the middle of the floor.
Oh, yeah.
You ever thought about doing that?
I think everybody's thought about doing
what?
That at some point. Why not?
I've peed in sinks before. I've never peed in the grate in the middle of like a truck stop.
You don't actually do it, but you think, one of these days.
You think about it. Yeah. You consider. Oh, catfish. You think that this is new. You should see the streams that I do on Twitch.
Those streams are great.
Oh yeah, but by the way, I'm resting, I'm maxing and relaxing to give my immune system the best shot it can get if I did catch COVID. But if my I have some tests that I'm going to be doing tonight. A test. I'm going to take a COVID test, a home test, because I was sent back with some of them.
Okay.
And if it's negative tomorrow, I'm going to be doing Twitch streams again. I'm trying to get partnered, and
hell yeah,
I'm going to be looking into crypto land.
Yes.
Yeah. You saw that too.
Yes. It's like it blurs the line between it's so Tim and Eric, but there are points where like this could be crazy enough to work. Like someone's going to take the money, someone's going to run, it's going to be Fire Festival. And yet, like it could have started out as a joke, but then if someone sees like, we could run a grift with this a little bit. We could like tits are coming up on your stream again. I'm watching you scroll through your phone.
It keeps showing up. I'm trying to find something to talk about because I have nothing to contribute, and it's literally showing me ads with like, look at busty person. You're a human male. And I'm like, okay, that's all great and everything, but nah.
Brian, there has been a development in the crypto land thing. On Twitter, someone asked, what will the age of consent be in crypto land? And their social media responded saying something along the lines of mental maturity being the most important thing. And they've been getting dragged pretty hard. They're trying to play it off as if it was an intern who doesn't speak English well misunderstanding the question. But considering that mental maturity is a huge like a dog whistle, like a very loud dog whistle among those types, nobody's buying it.
No, I wouldn't buy
it.
And
this actually has been there's a tradition of attempted libertarian independent island states in the middle of the ocean. Sometimes they'll like take ships out there and be like, all right, we're a nation now. And the age of consent is always something that creates problems and is always we'll just say that it is a motivating factor historically with these kinds of projects.
So is there any real person identified behind Cryptoland?
Yes, there are some real people.
Oh.
And one of them, I think like the main person apparently is involved with a Spanish-speaking publication that kind of got in hot water a little while ago because the place that, or the magazine that he owns got into a YouTuber's private life and found their secret partner. And that they were trying to keep, they were trying to keep it on the down low because the YouTuber didn't want their partner being harassed.
Partner as in relationship partner or business partner?
Yeah, relationship partner. Okay. Yeah, relationship partner. And like they didn't want the person being scrutinized, so they were trying to keep their private life private. And
imagine that.
This person's magazine, sort of shone a big light on it. So, but there's not I don't know that people have dug up a whole lot on him, and I certainly haven't. I'm just here to warm myself by the dumpster fire.
Hell yeah. I can't wait. Tell me all about it. Or what am I doing? What's tomorrow? Friday?
Friday.
What am I doing tomorrow? Tomorrow, ideally, I would like your notes by tomorrow.
Sure.
So I don't have to like worry about recording, so I can have like maximum brunch on Saturday. Yeah. Saturday, I'm having you'll like this name, Fred. This one rally team, this LGBTQ friendly Lemons rally team called Junkyard Gay Bar, and so I can have. It's a wonderful place, because there isn't really an LGBTQ scene in like the automotive world because it's typically like. Oh, big cars and big engines and stuff. And it's if it exists deep in the background because half the time you don't want to upset someone at a car show because, old people. And
yeah, it's remarkable how much a person's existence can piss off someone else.
Right.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Hey, Bob, guess what? I'm gay.
It's just right at lunch. Just like responds, you're being gay. Like your being gay personally offends me.
Yeah.
Leave my vicinity.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for some reason,
really
like
weird about
Bob doesn't mind telling us about cannibalism over our breakfast.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
it's just like an old man conversation. Like we're having breakfast at the coffee shop and he's talking about just apropos of nothing, just coming in talking about when Columbus was on the island, they watched a kid get eaten by his parents or something like that.
Something wild like that had no like prompt. We didn't like tee him up for that or leave the door open for it.
Did you see what he was eating?
What? No.
What Bob was eating? It was the old man breakfast.
Define the old man breakfast.
Cream chip beef on toast.
Oh, that's like the old man Pennsylvania breakfast. That's like the hearty.
Yeah.
The early bird
special.
I
want a big plate of gray and I don't want to taste it.
Right. That's the kind of food that an old person will tell you will put hair on your chest.
Yeah. And apparently liver spots on your face too, Bob.
Yeah.
Let's wrap up these questions. JBLYON2, high five for also having a gay brother and producing no grandkids. Hell yeah, this family name can just go in the dirt. Anthony, $6.90. Nice. Hey, fellas, haven't caught you in a while. Hope all still well. I still have my 1983 Z28 in Montgo, Montgomery County, I'm assuming. That's yours to critique. Gosh, we did like an I-82 IROC, and that's pretty darn close. If you'd like an easy target. Once again, send me an email. That's the way we do it through everything. I wish I could give an answer in person or on this, but send an email, and that's really all anybody can do. But thank you so much, and thank you for liking RCR.
Email or send the form?
Well, now you got to do the form.
Yeah, so right. Go to regular car review singular.com.
There's a link in the description of this live stream.
Rock and roll.
And also, hats are back in stock. So if you want an RCR hat like the one I wear, they're back in stock. And Leyland G says, Happy New Year, RCR. Again, $6.90. Nice. A Happy New Year to you, too. Patrick McFarlane, with a generous donation, says, Tim Dillon, a modern Bill Hicks, although postmodern frat boy works very well. There's some Bill Hicks. There's definitely Bill Hicks in there. Yep. But Tim Dillon doesn't live as his online presence. So he's able to turn on and turn off. So as evidence, like when he has actual guests on his podcast, he's himself And when it's just him like ranting, almost Bill Burr style, that's more of him like cranked up when he's wearing the aviator sunglasses and things. So happy New Year to all three of you. Thank you.
Very good.
Andrew Palmer, thank you for your donation. Hey there. Hope you guys have been enjoying your holiday break, and thank you for all the wonderful videos this past year. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you so much.
JT Rock 5. Thank you for your donation. Started interviewing my dad on his time in the SCCA, the Sports Car Club of America, in the mid to late 80s. Awesome. Good time to be in grassroots racing. Always in the slowest class, taking at the time shit boxes around the track. Now all those shit boxes are $25,000.
Wow.
On Bring a Trailer around the tracks for 24 hours with his team. Fantastic. Awesome. Gerald P. Thank you for the donation. I got my motorcycle license in 2021 with training. Any tips on becoming a better rider? Time in the saddle. Did the stupid thing and brought a new bike. Spit Villain 701.
Svart Pilin 701?
Svart? What the heck is that?
Don't know.
He's paying with Canadian dollars, so he may get a model that we don't get in the States.
Possibly.
How do I do Control C on a Mac? Macs are gay. Command V. Is that what it is?
I think that's...
Riding a motorcycle is easy. Just don't crash.
Yeah.
I think it's Command C.
Idiot.
Command V. No, it's just Command
C.
Command C. Duh. Command C.
My understanding is that a lot of the shortcuts on Macs are the same as Windows, just Command instead of Control.
Gotcha. There it is. Oh, it's a Husky. Okay. Husqvarna.
Husqvarna.
Husqvarna is, I think, are they Swedish?
Oh, I knew this because I had to know it for an RCR story. And now I don't
It
recall.
looks like the name looks almost German, so I'm going to say yes.
Let's see.
They sell Husqvarnans, like they have some sort of deal with Harley Davidsons. Like some of the Harley Davidson brands, you can see Huskies there.
Yeah, they're Swedish.
Swedish?
Yep.
All right. Husqvarna is like the B side to everybody who wants to drive a BMW motorcycle.
Yeah.
Because like I drive a BMW motorcycle. I paid $30,000 for my motorcycle. Blah, 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 blah. And then some guy in a Husky says like, yeah, this does everything that German bike does. And it's $10,000 less. So it's sort of like that. They haven't beat them on price point. Huskies, they look really, really like, you don't want to say cyberpunk because then everybody who like wants to if a vehicle has like a lot of hard angles on it and like aggressive angles, they think like, oh, it's cyberpunk. But I have no better way to describe like the styling of these bikes. I think they're just they look like Tekken fighters. It's just all angly and they don't need to look like that, but I don't know. It's their style. So you bought a new bike with a lot of plastic on it. So that's like the thing. Because the deal is when you get a new motorcycle, you're gonna drop it. Usually a low speed or no speed crash in a parking lot. You just end up dropping it. So if it has a lot of plastic, that plastic's gonna break, as opposed to buying a Japanese motorcycle from the 80s and 90s that are just metal, everything. They just drop, you may dent the tank, but who cares? You can sell it on again for the same price you bought them. They're just like these indestructible tanks of bikes. But hey, welcome to Two Wheels. I don't know if I'm ever going to buy a bike again.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's, I
have to get a different house because like half the deal of me like not riding motorcycles anymore is now I'd have to move a car to get the bike out. And I was like,
yeah.
And then I have to go, I got to move the car, park the car, move the bike. And it was just like having a small garage. Like the only bike I'm like there's two bikes I'm mildly interested in. But again, I'd need like a house with a 3-car garage, is the Suzuki Bergman, which is a maxi scooter. It's a 650cc maxi scooter that'll do 110 miles an hour. Ooh. So, but it's just like, I want to ride, but I really want to be comfortable. Yeah. But I don't want to drive a Honda Goldwing gigantic thing. I just want a comfortable, gas-saving, little thing that has all the amenities of a big bike, and all the speed of a big bike, but I want to feel like I'm riding one of those fold out lawn chairs that comes in a bag.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah.
Drawstring bag.
Yeah. And the other bike is a Zero. So one of the electric bikes, because I rode one in New Zealand. Like, this is awesome. And I don't care about a bike. Like, but the other thing is, like, I've ridden every single road around this area. So there's no place left to explore.
Yeah.
So
there's
I'm like,
nothing that's going to surprise you here.
And the only person I know around in the area who rides is Ted Stoltz down in Lancaster. And we had this thing that we wanted to ride to Anthrocon one year, but I'm like, well, then you get there and there's like this limitation of having a bike and stuff, and then you're not going to have a lot of gear with you, or like half your clothes are going to be your motorcycle clothes, and like the novelty of going on a long motorcycle ride is just kind of Fred, what do you think of motorcycles? I think Fred's asleep. Oh, he's still there.
No, I'm here. I'm just like, I'm trying to think about what I think about motorcycles.
It's all right. I'm kind of there too. Like, I don't dislike motorcycles. I just don't really have much of a thought about them, I guess.
It's dirt biking's cool.
Yeah, that's fun. That dirt bikes handle like bicycles. And they have the same riding position as a bicycle, like a mountain bike. The transition from mountain bike to dirt bike is almost instantaneous.
Wow!
As long as you know how to shift the things, you're good.
My opinion of motorcycles is definitely covered by my dad having a motorcycle and nearly dying. The only reason he survived was because of the reflexes he trained. Not mountain biking. Sorry, dirt biking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just able to dump it right and fall right, and
right, exactly. He had to fall.
Yeah.
Like he was like a truck pulled out in front of him in an intersection, and he had to like slide to a stop.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway,
I would suggest refreshing the super chat one more time, if only because my screen got really pixelated, so I don't know if, like, they gave us 2 hours of good luck and now our luck is starting to like wonky.
We had one more super chat from Grease Monkey. I think this is Australian dollars, AUD.
Yeah, I think so.
Or is I think it was A is just Australian.
Could be.
There's no D in Austria, so it can't be that. So all he says is, you can't tell me what to do. So he's ignoring the sign that we want no more super chats because we're wrapping it up.
Yeah, it's Australia.
It's like we're wrapping it up, but there's no real time limit. Although this is the longest podcast we've ever done. But
no, we did the one after hours one where we were basically just drinking whiskey half the time.
Hell yeah!
And I had that, and we did that like wrestling promo, just like,
yeah,
I'm coming for you. It was just like, yeah,
that was a long one.
That was like 3 hours.
It's 6 p.m. I really should get to the gym because I'm one of the things that's helped with what I thought were its heart palpitations. Like, oh yeah, during my break, I don't think I posted a picture of this, but I had a wireless heart monitor on me.
Yeah.
Did I show that picture?
Yeah,
Fred?
you showed me.
Yeah.
You showed me. What came of that?
Well, we'll find out. I mean, I gave it back, or I mailed it back. We'll find out if it's. Of course, like, my heart didn't beat hard while I was wearing it, but there were two other factors. One, I wasn't going to the gym every day, which may have something to do with it. And two, because I wasn't going to the gym, I don't eat dinner until I get back from the gym because I want to earn my dinner. But that also means I'm eating dinner very late, which I used to say, well, it's sort of Nick style. It hasn't hurt him. But then I'm eating a big dinner at like 10 p.m. and going to bed at midnight. So your stomach is still going. So when I wasn't going to gym, I'd be eating dinner now at 6 and then finish eating and I'd maybe have 2 bowls of food and I'd finish eating by at the latest 8 and I wouldn't go to bed till midnight. So I just went to bed and my stomach wasn't going. Therefore, my heart rate was lower. So maybe that could be a thing. And last night I was at the gym later, but I didn't cook a big meal. I just cooked a tiny meal. Instead of cooking my big thing of rice, my big thing of vegetables and whatever meat I had. I just had a little bit of sausage and a little bit of vegetables and one bowl, and that was it. And I went to bed. Sure enough, I went right to bed.
There you go.
I only had to get up to pee, and like, I have my usually like 5:30 a.m. raging hard on.
Oh yeah, no,
which is like,
yeah.
Guess what? We're fucking. Like, there's nobody here. I don't give a shit.
It's literally it's almost that exact same time for me too. And it's worse when I wake up at around that time and I really have to pee and I just can't.
Tick, 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 tick,
I'm
tick,
just like,
tock, Fran, tick, tick, tick,
Yeah.
tick, 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 tock.
Oh man, it's like a stale churro.
No, it's just like speed metal. It's the only card need is the ace of spades. The ace of spades.
Oh my god.
You ever have sleep jerking? Does it ever work it into your dreams? You're actually jerking off in your sleep?
No.
Oh,
That's a new one.
I've not quite been there, no.
Okay. I think we're gonna wrap it up.
That's
was
a
the
solid
buzz.
2.5.
That's a solid 2.5
Yeah.
hours.
All right. Well,
Yeah, rock solid. As
Rock
solid
solid.
as you are in the middle of the night.
yeah.
God damn. It's like, why can't this happen in the daytime? Why can't it happen when I'm done editing and I'm ready to get disgusting in incognito mode? Why can't it happen? Why can't it happen at 9:50 p.m. after I'm done eating? And I don't feel like playing Skyrim again.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for entertainment now.
Yeah. It's
No,
it's got to come when like
5:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? You got to be at the airport and bust.
Well, you got to bust before you get on the airline because you can't, it's there.
Yeah, I only jerked off in an airplane bathroom once.
Oh, I've never.
2001, 747-400. I was
Bust or bust.
bust or bust. But then, like, this guy next to me started making out with this girl. This was like shortly after 9/11, and I'm flying to Cape Town, South Africa, but this was on the way back. I don't think I busted on the way there. I was just so excited to go.
Oh my god. Flying on a plane after 9/11 was the new eating puffer fish.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we could die. Oh, it's exciting.
My mom wanted at the time I had like just the bottom goatee, or maybe I had a chin strap because it was 2001. And my mom was like, I want you to shave that. You look like a terrorist. I'm like, Mom, I look like I'm in Limp Bizkit. You know, don't wear that hat. You look like a terrorist. I'm like, Mom, it's Pennsylvania in the wintertime. I'm wearing a wool hat.
Yeah. What do you want me
I'm
to
wearing
say?
a beanie.
What do you want me to say?
What do you mean to do? I'm getting on an airplane in December to go because it's summer down there.
Yeah.
Someone could say something. And I remember, like, I didn't fly out of Philly. I flew out of Harrisburg.
Wow.
Because I flew Delta back then. And I flew Harrisburg to Atlanta. And Harrisburg, I'll never forget it. Walking in there, and they had this big banner right in front of security, and it just said, "Thank you for flying."
Oh.
Because they thought everything was going to go under, and everybody was super nice. And I was getting served on the plane. I'm 19, I think. I'm getting served on the plane. Like, it's South African Airlines. So, their rule. I think their legal age is 18.
Yeah.
So I'm like drinking wine and like, this is great. But on the way back, there was like, I was in economy, but on a 747 economy, you saw Inception, like first class is in the nose, flight deck's upstairs. In the old days, first class was on the second floor. And the whole bottom was, I think, economy or whatever. But on the old 747-400s, upstairs is also economy, but it's nicer up there. And like, there's more space up there. They don't cram the seats in on the second floor. So it's almost like you're in sort of premium economy. And on the way back, it was only 3 abreast. I had the aisle seat, and there was like some girl in the middle, I forget where she was from, and some guy from Chicago over on the window seat. And they started hooking up on the plane ride on the way back and started making out. And then I just went into the bathroom on the second floor and busted.
And that's a podcast.
That's a podcast.
All right. Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Fred. It was so great to hear from you.
Fred, plug your stuff.
I know that I can be a bit odd, and I do hope that I was a boon.
Fred, you are one of our favorite guests.
A man
You
for
are
all seasons.
welcome anytime.
Yes.
Aw, you're way too sweet.
Yeah.
Jester says, sleep jerking. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
I will wake up with my pants off sometimes.
Hell yeah. You sleep with pants on?
That does happen. Yeah, pajama pants.
Yeah, I rock those pajama pants.
You guys sleep with clothes on?
I wouldn't call pajamas clothes.
They're not clothes per se, because it's a thinner fabric than you would actually go outside with in this weather. But I don't know. Like sometimes I sleep in my underwear, but like it feels weird sometimes.
I was kind of having an internal debate with myself, wondering if like, because you wear them, right? Like they're like pajamas could be considered clothes. But then I asked myself, okay, so if I walked into a place that like demanded clothing, right? Like you must be clothed to be here.
Yeah.
Would they accept pajamas? And the answer is probably no. So I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, half the people that I had classes with in undergrad showed up in pajamas. Like it's literally girls wearing hoodies and pajama bottoms.
Yeah.
In class. And so it's kind of that.
And like the Berkshire Mall, when I worked there was just like, you got Skook trash and you got Burke's trash. They're very different types of trash. But I saw people walking around that mall in like pajama bottoms.
Oh, I go to the Rite Aid usually in my pajamas. And
your Rite Aid was right there.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then that's another thing, like living in an area where you can walk around.
Yeah.
I don't remember wearing pajamas outside when I lived in Kutztown. But like, I can't remember when did I stop wearing clothes to bed? It had to be probably senior year in college when I had an off-campus apartment by myself. I was like, why am I wasting laundry detergent on this stuff? But I understand the opposite is that you will have to wash your bedding more because you're going to sweat right directly into the bedding. Do you sweat when you sleep?
Sometimes, yeah. And my whole thing is like, I don't know. I guess I slobber on the pillow. I do realize it, but it's one of those things where we had to wash our bedding last night. And I don't mind the whole washing the bedding thing. What bugs me is that when we have to put the fitted sheet back on, I hate doing anything with a fitted sheet because it's just like, it doesn't want to adhere. I'm terrible with them. Like luckily my girlfriend's like a total like whiz at that, but she also got like these little suspender things that like hold them in place.
Oh, nice.
So like I can just like move around all I want, toss and turn all I want and whatnot. And it's not going to come off. So that's great. Living in the future.
All right. So thank you to everybody who donated in the super chats. You are helping RCR for our travel budget. Your money will be spent very, very maturely. Thank you to everybody who donates to Patreon. You allow us regular car reviews to function as a larger channel than it is. Thank you to everybody who joins in every Monday for our new video. I know there wasn't one this week, but the next one's already posted and scheduled. I just have to do the final, like put all the information in it.
Yeah.
And we will see you on Monday. And I will remember the hint. I hope I remember that. Hope future Brian remembers the hint on social media Sunday night for you guys to guess what type of car it is. Thank you so much for Frederick Knudsen from the channel Down the Rabbit Hole for joining us this evening for 2 hours and 11 minutes. Thank you so much for keeping us company. This was a delight. Please come back and do this again, Fred. It's a lot of fun.
It really is.
I thank you very much for having me on.
So for everybody, for RCR, for Down the Rabbit Hole with Fred and Nick Roman, I'm Brian.
I'm Nick.
Have a very good night, guys.
Good night, everyone.
And the stream.